battle Chris, not fully, but essentially the battle of the 6th seed and or better.
Yeah.
Only in Kings basketball can you talk about the 10 seed 1 week and the 4 seed the next week, and that's what we're going to do. Chris Watkins, how you doing?
Feeling great. Yeah, the Kings took care of business. Really not much of a scare from yesterday, but the Mavericks are in town now, and we've been talking about it for a while. This is really where things are going to get spicy, and this is where things are going to get determined. The battle for the play-in tournament has officially started, and it's going to go down tonight in Sac.
It definitely is. It definitely is, and it was impressive last night. I don't want to gloss over what happened last night, because how many times have we sat there and complained about the Kings not doing what they're supposed to do?
Right.
So now that they are doing what they're supposed to do, or they did what they're supposed to do last night, I don't want to gloss over it, but at the same time, we just don't have a lot of time to boast and to brag about the fact that you took down a Sixers team who is reeling. No Joel Embiid. Yes, they beat the Clippers, but the Clippers are reeling, which is why we're having conversations. Yes, there's nothing wrong with your YouTube or nothing wrong with your radio. We are talking about the 4 seed.
That's right.
And Ty Lue, he basically went Kobe on the Clippers, called them soft. Okay.
Incredible.
The Pelicans are missing Brandon Ingram. All right. And the Suns, who blew it, you thought you saw some bad losses with the Kings, which you have. But the Suns now trying to outdo the Kings by losing to a Wembanyama-less Spurs team at a terrible time. That was the last gimme that they had.
That's it.
That was so Sacramento. I felt like Scooby-Doo when they take off the mask and it's the Suns, and you take off the mask and it's the Kings.
Yep.
The Kings pop up as the Suns do their best Kings impression and lose to a Spurs team without Wembanyama. That is terrible for them. The Kings are the lowest seed that the Suns will play for the rest of the season. The rest of the season. So, Chris, you had it spot on. They're not done yet, the Suns, but you had it spot on as far as the Suns probably not being able to hang on simply because of their schedule. We'll get into pocket watching later in the show, because not only are you going to be able to possibly dance on the grave of the Suns, but the Warriors as well cannot figure it out, and the Rockets are hot to trot, and they're not losing.
No,
Draymond's
not concerned. Draymond's not worried.
Draymond, he don't give a bleep about the Rockets. He don't give a bleep really about anything but his podcast. So we have plenty to talk about.
He had a beanie. He had a Draymond.
Yes, he did. He had swag. He had swag. He said, win or lose, I'm promoting. I am a promoter first, and that's what we're going to do. And as we make sure that we enjoy this win before turning the page to the Dallas Mavericks for the first of a 2 miniseries. You know, I love my baseball.
Yes.
So any type of series,
that's right.
I'm all in for.
This is your territory.
I am all in for this. Got to set the tone tonight.
That's right.
But first, as we talk about the Sixers, it's time for Frank Facts.
Yes, it's time for Frankie Cardicelli Facts, where you can read Frankie's post-game articles every single game at SactownSports.com. First note here is the Kings started off a 5-game homestand on a strong note, as the Kings, who are now 42-29, have secured their 4th win over their past 5 games while improving to a season-high 13 games over 500, a really miraculous mark. I think that ties what the Kings, the high that the Kings were last year as well. So this is the best basketball that this team has played in their past 2 seasons, and it's been incredible to watch. Part of that last night was Keegan Murray. He scored 17 points just in the first quarter, 6 of 8 shooting, giving himself his highest scoring period of his young career so far, and they needed every single one of those points because Tyrese Maxey himself was going absolutely bananas in that first quarter, trying to outscore the Kings himself, and Keegan was a huge part of the Kings just kind of keeping afloat in that moment, and then, of course, taking the lead and never looking back. Sabonis, as we know, last night set the double-double record for 54 consecutive games in a single season with a double-double. He is the 7th player in NBA history to post those numbers, joining Wilt Chamberlain, who did it 5 times, Elvin Hayes, who did it 3 times, Walt Bellamy, who did it once, Elgin Baylor, who did it once, Jerry Lucas, former Royal or King, who did it once, Bill Russell, who did it once, and hey, all of those guys are members of the Basketball Hall of Fame. So I don't know if we can confidently stamp Sabonis into the Hall of Fame yet, but man, what he just did, what he just accomplished is truly something that has only been done by the greats in the game. And I know Sabonis in his postgame yesterday when asked, what did you think of Kevin Love, who reached out to you on Twitter saying congratulations. He called Kevin Love a future Hall of Famer. I think that's an interesting conversation, but nonetheless, Sabonis doing what really only greats have done in this league is definitely not something to overlook. Something else that you can't overlook was Davion Mitchell's massive night last night. Off night was huge off the bench during the Kings win. He scored 18, which was a season high for Davion. It's been a really tough season for him shooting the ball. He was 6 of 9 shooting over 24 minutes. You love to see Davion hitting his shot like that. We just saw on Saturday Keon have that massive offensive game against the Magic.
Right.
Yesterday, Keon didn't have it. Malik really didn't have it, and you needed a guy like Davion to step up in that moment. He was huge. He looked comfortable, and really, it's been a continuation of something we've seen for a couple months now where Davion's just looked really, really comfortable on the offensive end. I know Mike Brown talked about him yesterday and just how much he's improved here in Sacramento over his past 2 years, and you just love to see Davion Mitchell contributing on the offensive end the way he did yesterday. Back to Keegan Murray, who posted 20-plus points for the second straight game yesterday, finishing with 23 points over 37 minutes. Keegan has scored 20-plus points in consecutive games for the first time since February 26th through 28th. So it has been almost a month, really, since Keegan has put together back-to-back good performances offensively. It's been a really rough season. I was going through just his three-point shot logs here recently, and it's a lot of 1 of 6, 1 of 7, 1 of 4. Then he'll have a 2 of 4. He had that 6 of 7 the other day, and then it's right back to 1 of 6, 1 of 6. And so it's been really tough to see Keegan go through these ups and downs this season. Great to see him put together 2 really good performances back in a row. Sacramento on the season now moves to 15-4 when holding opponents under 110 points. That seems to be the magic number. As we know, the Kings have struggled to have that many games this season in general, but here recently they have stacked them up and really have improved on the defensive end. And last note here, Domantas Sabonis is 2 triple-doubles away from tying Larry Bird with 59 for 10th all-time in the all-time triple-doubles list.
Wow.
Sabonis obviously did not only a double-double, but a triple-double in yesterday's game. So only 2 away from Larry Legend on his all-time triple-double list.
It's light work.
That's
light
crazy.
work for Domantas Sabonis, and we will continue to break down everything that Domas did last night. I want to start with Davion Mitchell.
Yeah.
Because there is definitely a culture, and this word, that's an overused term in work life and sports and everything. But there is definitely a culture with the Kings, and a culture that Mike Brown has created to where you always have to be ready.
Yeah.
You might not get called on for a game, 2 games, 3 games, but Mike Brown has given a belief to these guys that are mostly on the bench that even though I'm not playing you, that doesn't mean that I don't believe in you.
Yeah.
At any
I'm
point,
thinking about
or I'm
you.
not thinking about you. At any point in time, your number could get called, and I still will expect you to show up. And that's exactly what Davion Mitchell did. I saw something about his ability to get moving screens called and his ability to navigate screens. Those are the little things that technically they got analytics for everything nowadays.
Right,
but those are the things that you don't notice. We talk about how they switch everything.
Yeah.
Well, Davion's the guy who says, I don't need to do that. And if we do end up switching, I'm still going to try to fight through and see what I can do. So I think Davion Mitchell, I think that was huge.
Yeah.
We've talked so much about Keon Ellis. Everybody has. Pre-game presser, everybody's asking about Keon. Post-game, everybody's asking about Keon. And Davion Mitchell could have curled into a ball.
Yeah, he said, oh, my God, I guess my role is gone, right?
Yeah, I got leapfrogged. This dude has more length than me. We're kind of the same guy. He's shooting the ball well. He's confident. I guess I'm cooked. And he said, no, I'm not going down like that. I'm not going out like that. And I think that's not just a testament to Davion Mitchell, but it's a testament to the Kings and to Mike Brown and to the culture that he's created, that I'm not going to give up on you as long as you don't give up on yourself. But we got to continue to break down all these Frank facts. We will break down Domantas Sabonis' big night, and we're opening up the phone lines, 916-339-1140. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. When we get back, more Kings talk. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.
Business 108-96 in a game where if you were at the game, you were just enjoying yourself. The vibes were nice, right? If you were watching on TV, you didn't have to worry if you were cooking dinner or whatever it is. You're not double checking. Are they blowing the lead? Are they blowing the lead? No stress, no anxiety last night. They just take care of business in a big, big week, and they get the week started off right because these Mavericks, I know they're going to be a little bit tired. They had to travel from Utah. They end up getting it done. Utah didn't go down easy, but eventually the Mavericks took care of business. Now they got to fly out. This is a long trip for the Mavericks. They got to fly out, right? And they got to hang out in Sacramento. They play on the back-to-back, and then they're just chilling, until Friday.
Right. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
Really long time.
That's a long time in a place that you are not familiar with.
That's right.
But that is not to say that we care about the Mavericks. That's to say that the Kings are in a better situation than the Mavericks, and you got to try your best.
Yep.
We'll discuss what happens if they split. We'll discuss what happens if they win both. And obviously you want them to win both, but either way, the Kings do have a bit of a leg up on the Mavericks, and they have to make sure that they take advantage of it. And we know that Domas has taken advantage of every situation that he's been in, and he pulls off 54 straight. We went back and forth last night. What were they going to do to honor Domantas Sabonis? So essentially it happened, and then Mike Brown called a timeout, right?
It happened. No, actually,
was the Sixers.
The Sixers called the timeout.
Okay, the Sixers called the timeout.
Yeah.
And it was perfect timing because they were on a run, and Domas gets his flowers.
Yep.
And Chris, was that appropriate? Was that appropriate?
That's exactly what I said they should do, and it's exactly what they did. It was perfect. I mean, you got the timeout exactly as it happened. The Kings, the emotions are feeling good. I didn't even consider the fact, what if the Kings were down 10 or something in the moment Sabonis gets it? It would have felt a little bit like, yay, okay, but you guys are kind of doing the thing again. That would have been interesting. But it was a really great moment. Definitely something I'm sure Sabonis will remember. It was really cool to see him instantly do that thing where he kind of acknowledged his wife and his kid in the crowd. It was really cool. See all his teammates. He went to the bench. Fox is out there clapping for him. Kobe Jones. See Mike Brown walk up to him, give him a hug. It was awesome. I think that's a really cool moment and something that, it's even if it is for a moment, it's just like a breath of fresh air when you're literally about to enter this bloodbath of a sprint to the end of the season. You're about to play maybe the two most important games of your season. really nice to just kind of have a game where you just feel good about it. It almost felt like a homecoming game in a weird way where everybody's feeling good. You got awards being handed out. You got just the vibes feeling good. And now it's time for the real, man. Now it's time for them to lock down and really focus. But it was a really good moment yesterday. And I think it's going to be kind of like a little bit of celebration before war here.
Little bit of a mini break last night. What they get subbed out with?
It was about the fourth quarter. Yeah, pretty much like
3 minutes, 3 minutes, something like that, where the big sub happened, maybe a little bit before that. And we'll take anything we can get at this point in time, especially when guys are dropping like flies right now as far as injuries and things like that. So to get a little bit of a breather before a huge week, you have to love that. And they did not overlook their opponent in the Sixers. Tyrese Maxey is a stud. He's going to be very, very good. Dude. We talked to Jason Dumas of Cron 4 yesterday about Tyrese Maxey and everything he brings to the table. The way you talk about, I know I like to use this word a lot, but shifty. Yeah. He just knows how to navigate his body and navigate through. De'Aaron is more stop and start. I'm going to get you on my heels. And then I got the mid-range. Tyrese Maxey, the way he knows how to navigate screens, he goes left to right, and then next thing you know, he's at the cup. And they tried to run a zone, they tried to do multiple things, and they did figure it out because Tyrese Maxey, he was cooking. We had 21 of the 24 points in the first quarter. Then after that, pretty darn quiet. Pretty darn quiet. So that's another testament to the Kings defense and being a learning, breathing thing as a defense and not getting stuck in just one version of their defense, getting cooked all night. Nobody wanted to see that. I feel like, who was it? Made a bit of a mini stretch. It was basically out of reach already, but your guy came in, DJ Wilson.
That's right.
And he hit
a
couple threes, and you're thinking, okay, I mean, it should be all good. And the Kings were able to just weather the storm and be good with it. But, I mean, you just can't say enough about Domas and everything that he's brought to the team. What were your initial thoughts as it was happening? We're sitting there all counting it. And it felt like he had more offensive rebounds than defensive rebounds.
He was going crazy. It was a great night. I mean, it felt like he the crazy thing is I in the prop talk and all that stuff, I was talking about, he's not only is he gonna get the record, he's just gonna blow through it because he's gonna be like, I'm not leaving any shred of doubt or anything like that. But again, it's really just a testament to his selflessness that he was not charging after it. He was not shamelessly hunting rebounds, trying to get every single one to get it out the way as quickly as possible. Let it come to him. I think he ended up getting it like halfway through the third quarter. And didn't have like a spectacular, numbers game. I think he was 11, 10, and 12 or something like that. Like it was nothing crazy, but again, just in a moment where that night very easily could have been all about him. And he wasn't going against Joel Embiid. He could have forced that matchup. Just went to work, man. Got KJ Martin into foul trouble. Got Mo Bamba into foul trouble. Just did exactly what he needed to do. Wasn't flashy. Didn't show up on the box score, but really was just a classic Domantas Sabonis performance where he did exactly what was needed in that night. And it was just a lunch pail kind of game, and that's exactly what he's been for this 54 game streak. Is just every single night bringing his lunch pail. It didn't matter if he was going against Nikola Jokic. It didn't matter if he was going against Jalen Duren. He was showing up every single night, lowering that shoulder and setting the tone of physicality. And that's really something, I know you said Ty Lue called his team soft. I do think in a weird way, Sabonis prevents the Kings from being talked about as a soft team because I do think there is some guys out there who probably aren't the most physical guys, but when you got Sabonis just beating people up and then he's himself getting abused as well, like it's tough for you to say we're going to play Sacramento today and I'm going to leave without a scratch. Like that's just not going to happen when Sabonis is out there.
Well, and Sabonis is going to get scratched up too. I thought he was in Creed 4.
It's crazy, yeah.
I mean, every game he's leaving with some type of blood.
If it's dirty, man, because like again, if he is so physical that nobody else is trying to meet that physicality, you're going to get dirty, right? Like you're going to say, "Hey, man, like stop being so physical. Here's a little elbow. Here's it looks like an accident. Oh, we're all going for the rebound. Oh, let me drop my elbow on your face." Like it's starting with how often it happens. It seems like it wouldn't surprise me if some more nights than not, it's intentional.
If it's actually blood,
yesterday he drew blood twice.
But I feel like based on how it happens, I don't know. It could be fingernails. I don't.
Yeah,
it could be a lot.
Stuff, yeah.
If he's leaving with a black eye and things like that, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he's getting beat up. It's just a matter of how the heck it's happening. Here you go, Chris. This is from StatMuse. Centers to record a 25-point triple-double in his 25 or more triple-doubles in a season. Wilt, Jokic, and Sabonis. Yeah. This gets better. Wilt won MVP. Jokic was second in MVP voting. And Sabonis missed the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Look, Chris, I'm not going to
even on the ladder these days.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know every season of the NBA, but I feel fairly confident in saying that Sabonis not making the All-Star team is got to be a top 3 snub in the history of the NBA. I don't see how it's not. This is insane.
Crazy. Yeah, especially when you're going to look at the numbers at the end of the year. It's just going to be like, how was this guy, how is this guy not chosen? It doesn't make any sense. Especially, you're going to look at guys like Karl Anthony Towns, and it's just not going to make any sense for a guy like Sabonis to be left off the list. And that's just going to be how it is. The Lakers are going to finish as a 9 seed with 2 All-Stars, but Sabonis couldn't even get a whiff. It's unfortunate, but man, I think at the end of the day, he's probably going to get, I'm sure he'll get all NBA, 3rd team probably. He maybe should have the argument of making 2nd team at this point, but hopefully he can make that list. I would say that, All-Star at the end of the day, we talk about how phony the All-Star game is anyway. It's unfortunate. I think Sabonis had some contract bonuses built in for All-Star appearances, so it sucks he won't be able to collect on those, but ultimately, all NBA is the thing where at the end of the season, that's where you really get your respect. That's where, if you're looking at the all-time greats, that's where they're really measured, is how many all NBAs you have, not necessarily how many all-star games you have. So yeah, it is unfortunate, but at the end of the day, he's going to be recognized at the end of the season. And you know what? The Kings are going to make the playoffs. So that's really what's going to matter.
When we return, the question is, who is the Kings' best player? Is there a difference between best and most important? Your calls, your texts, your Sack Chat. When we return, Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The battle for a top 6 seed in the Western Conference continues tonight as Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and the Dallas Mavericks visit Golden One Center to face the Kings.
Rebounded by Sacramento. Fox on the move. 3 defenders in front of him. Doesn't make a lick of difference. De'Aaron Fox twists his way to the low right side and scores on the reverse.
It's a huge clash tonight at 7 on your proud home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Toyota's Ready, Set, Go sales event is on. It's time to hit the road with powerful performance and fewer fill-ups. Toyota has more hybrid and plug-in hybrid options than any other brand, with the same legendary dependability you can count on. Right now, get incredible 0% APR financing for 72 months, or choose a low lease on the all-electric 2023 PZ4X. Hurry in. Toyota's Ready, Set, Go sales event ends soon. Toyota, let's go places. Offer available through TFS to buyers with premium rated credit. Ends 4/1/24.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy you happiness, but money did help you buy an RV, which means an excuse from working Saturday with your insufferable coworker, Dave. So money is helping you listen to birds chirp instead of Dave chirping about how his toddler is fluent in 3 languages. And it's also why you'll be smelling pine trees in the air, not Dave's tuna melt reheating in a microwave. So save money by bundling your RV or boat insurance with home or auto from Progressive and buy more happiness, or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Drapes, Kyle Draper here from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. You know, there's nothing like getting a massage on my way to work. I know it sounds crazy, but my new ride has seats that massage my back. Leave it to Mercedes-Benz. I've had my new EQS SUV for a few months now, and it's the most gorgeous and sophisticated vehicle I've ever had. I've owned electric cars before, but Mercedes-Benz has set a new standard on how awesome an electric car can be. I never stress about battery charging, and it's got remarkably long range, and it is easy to charge. Now, if you can plug in your hair dryer in the morning, you can plug in this car. It's very simple, and the timing is perfect. It's Mercedes Madness Month at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Enjoy up to $19,000 in Mercedes-Benz incentives on select new vehicles, plus a complimentary home charger and 2 years of prepaid maintenance. And they've got certified pre-owned Mercedes vehicles as low as 1.99% APR for qualified buyers. It's Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. It's just a short 30-minute drive from Sacramento, right off I-5, or online at mbfstockton.com.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
The best versus the most important. Are they even different at all? I'm talking about De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. It's really tough. This is probably one of the toughest questions. And if you go through all of the other playoff teams, is this the hardest one to choose, right? If you go through all the other playoff teams, I feel like it's pretty clear for the most part.
Yeah, I would think so.
Nuggets, obviously, you got Jokic. Thunder, Shea, and I know you sent me something about those Shea free throw numbers now that they've been dropping. He's not been the same guy at all. He's getting memed a little bit for doing too many TikTok dances and not enough scoring when he's not getting the whistle. Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards, Pelicans, I guess it's between Zion and Brandon Ingram. Clippers, it's Kawhi. And in the Eastern Conference, pretty similar, right? I mean, Jason Tatum is an interesting one in the Celtics, but I think it's him. You have Giannis with the Bucks, Cavaliers, your favorite player, Donovan Mitchell, the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, the Magic, obviously Paolo, the Pacers, obviously is Tyrese Halliburton, the Heat, and Pascal. You'd say Pascal over? Just stop with that. And Miami Heat, obviously, is Jimmy Butler. So if you look at the Sacramento Kings, who is the best and or most important player on that team, either answer sounds right. Either answer also sounds insane.
Yes. It is so weird. And then if you even wanted to throw in like the most popular player, or like the fan favorite, I think a lot of people would just say like, on a nightly basis, I like watching Malik Monk the most.
Yes,
You know,
that is Malik.
You know, that's like its own separate category, which is also a strange part of it.
Bobby
too,
Jackson
like,
back in the building,
right.
and those highlights, man, he got the people going.
You don't understand, man.
He got the
Bobby is the
people
people's
going,
champion, man. He is the people's champion. He was like the ultimate. You know, whatever they say about the backup quarterback, that is the feelings at least towards Bobby Jackson. Not that Bobby Jackson didn't earn that respect himself, but how everybody always says backup quarterback is the guy that everybody talks about. Oh, he can do this. Oh, he can do that. Why don't we just play him? That was Bobby Jackson, man. Is just the ultimate fan favorite and always delivered every single time. And his greatest highlight is actually stopping Kobe, which is fantastic.
Do you think that? And you're in the building every single game. How people react, is Malik the closest thing you've had to Bobby Jackson
Great question.
since
that's
Bobby
a
Jackson?
Fantastic question. Absolutely. Yeah. It's like the closest you can get. I mean, like there's a famous image of like, you know, Bobby falls into the crowd and somebody kisses his head. Like that is something I can literally see happening to Malik. I just think it's the energy, it's the passion, it's like you feel the fun coming off of those guys when they play, and I think that's the thing that, you know, specifically Sacramento fans love the most is just you looking like you're enjoying your time while being here and honestly taking pride in being a Sacramento King, and I would definitely say that Malik falls under both of those categories. When it comes to the best player, who's the most important, honestly, it might even be like picking your favorite ice cream. Like, I don't know if there's truly even a right answer, because as easily as I could say, look, most important, Domantas Sabonis. He gets everybody going. He's there every single night. If Sabonis isn't showing up every night, who knows what the Kings record would be right now. But then I could just as easily counter and say, look at the playoffs last year. This team is going as far as De'Aaron Fox takes them. So how can you not say De'Aaron is the most important player? Best player, same conversation of De'Aaron, he's not playing well. He's not that whatever. He's at 26 point something points per game. He is, again, the guy who fourth quarter, when this team needs to win, De'Aaron Fox is getting the ball in his hands. But again, Domantas Sabonis every single night showing up. It's not just about what his numbers are. It's about what he can create for HB, what he can create for Keegan, what he can create for Keon, and everything, so on and so forth. I almost feel like everything I say can be directly combated by the other side. And it's, I mean, I think it's a good thing, but at the same time, it is a really weird conundrum of, you know, you have two batteries and I can't figure out which one. I guess they're pulling equal weight, but it's just a really interesting push and pull that they have.
From the 707, this is a no-brainer, although Fox has some really big moments. Sabonis, hands down, is our best player and most important player, mostly because of his consistency and effort, night in and night out. Not only is Sabonis our best player, but he might be our best Sacramento Kings player in team history. That's from the 707.
I think that if not all of those are true facts. Like, I don't know if I'm there yet on the best Sacramento King.
We'll know more at the end of this season.
Absolutely.
We will know more at the end of this season.
Absolutely.
I will say, as far as what the 707 had to say, and put your name on this stuff, Texter, so we can give you a shout out. I will say that I would have to agree that Sabonis is probably the most important player on the Kings team. I would imagine, just based on what we've seen from the bad nights from the Kings, it feels like other teams, they believe that if they stop Sabonis, then the machine, they can break the machine. Right? De'Aaron Fox, I mean, when you talk about his good nights, and he's not just focused on scoring lately, but De'Aaron, he's not going to hit you for 40 and just break the game. He hasn't done that really this season. You can live with De'Aaron having a really good De'Aaron game because De'Aaron isn't dropping 50 and a 50-point triple-double, things like that. Sabonis is getting other people involved. He's inhaling rebounds. He's scoring himself. It's tough, but from what I've seen, it feels like other teams are telling us that Sabonis is maybe that is the difference between most important and best. Maybe De'Aaron is the best player, but Sabonis is the most important player.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think that's probably the best way of putting it. And I would also say that everything you just said really sparked that. It just shows that these guys really are like a perfect combo too, because it does feel like right where Sabonis leads. Because you could say like, okay, well, who could the team live most without? And it feels like right where Sabonis leaves off, that's where De'Aaron Fox would exactly pick up. And then again, like you said, De'Aaron can score 40 points in a given night if it's just him, no Sabonis.
Right.
But he's not going to get everybody else involved the same way. And that's right where Sabonis picks up. So it really is a perfect matchup. And, you know, I don't even necessarily think that we need to get to the end of the segment and have an answer. Like, I think that that's truly the beauty of how this team is built. And I think that's also why it's so great that the offense is as equal opportunity as what we see, because, you know, it's not just, hey, De'Aaron's turn. Okay, Sabonis set everybody up. It is very much an equal opportunity. Hey, yeah, if De'Aaron's got it, that's awesome. But Sabonis, he's going to get everybody else going. It's a really, really fascinating thing that they've stumbled upon here. And, you know, I wonder if come playoff time, it is something that they do need to adjust, because I would say last year in the playoffs, there was a shift from, hey, Sabonis kind of got us through the regular season. But again, come playoff time, De'Aaron Fox is going to take this team about as far as they can go. We saw how last year, you know, Sabonis was able to kind of be taken out by the Warriors to an extent, but De'Aaron Fox kept them afloat by being fantastic and matching every single, or not every single, but most of the great Steph Curry nights. De'Aaron was right there behind him. And I think that's again, where Sabonis leaves off, De'Aaron immediately picks up.
Well, in the way you're saying it, I think haters have used against Sabonis to say he's a regular season player. I think it's less about Sabonis being a regular season player and more about you needing some form of an electric guard or wing in the playoffs. That's just what you need. So
it's just like the NCAA tournament, right?
I was literally going to say, you need playmaking guards in the tournament. You need playmaking guards, wings, guys that can just be a bucket and defend in the playoffs. So I think it's less about Sabonis as a individual talent and more about Sabonis as his position and a player. That is just not what's going to take you over the top in the playoffs. That's not to say that Sabonis is a regular season guy, but night in and night out, you need him to steady the ship. But if you want that parade in Sacramento, or if you want that parade anywhere as far as NBA teams, you need a guard that can take you over the top. So it's not about Sabonis, it's just more about how things set up in the playoffs. That was from Tim in the 707, by the way. From the 530, I agree. Sabonis is the best / most important player on the team currently. But when Fox is at his best, he's clearly the most talented.
See, and that's another thing too.
That's another thing too. But you do need both for this thing to go. But every team does.
I'm thinking, is Malik the most talented player on the team, actually? When you're just talking about raw individual skills, it's like, I don't know.
It's De'Aaron.
Malik can do a little bit of everything.
And by the way, 11 o'clock, we will break down De'Aaron and how he's found a groove quite quietly, as we've talked so much about Keon Ellis and other dudes that you may not expect. Are we undervaluing De'Aaron Fox and what he's been doing night in and night out? We have the last 10 games, the stats on those to show you and to let you know what he's been up to. We see the phone lines lining up. Ashley, we see you. JR, we see you. Got to get to it when we return. Your texts, your calls, your Sac Chat. More conversation on the Kings. De'Aaron Fox or Domantas Sabonis? Who makes this team go? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey. He walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey. Takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You're going to feel a puff of air.
Jones Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
I'm going out with the girls this weekend. Nails done, outfit stunner, and my skin, I know it's going to be glowing because I glammed up my shower routine with new Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. It smells so luxurious and moisturizes deep into my skin with its super rich, creamy lather that's bursting with vitamin B3. So my skin glows and my confidence grows. Try new Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash for glowing skin in just 14 days.
Ball forward, take your base. The only thing worse than a pitcher running out of gas on the mound is your old phone running out of storage for your photos in the stands. Goodbye, home run. Switch to Verizon and get a great deal on a new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage for all the ballpark pics you want. Just trade in your iPhone, any model, in any condition, so you'll feel like you're winning, even when your team's not. Trade in any iPhone in any condition for a great deal on iPhone 15 Pro with Unlimited Ultimate and get iPad and Apple Watch SE with eligible service plan. Only on Verizon.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home, and the men who use PTO to catch afternoon basketball in March with the boys. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Drapes, Kyle Draper. As the proud sponsor of the Sacramento Kings Mop Crew, Alsco Uniforms offers certified hygienically clean lab coats, scrubs, bed linens, towels, floor mats, and an array of mops tailored for your healthcare facility. Our services include convenient delivery to your doorstep. Leading the way in healthcare laundry services in Northern California, discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco Uniforms. Go to alsco.com to learn more. Again, that's alsco.com.
The weather's warming up, spring is here, and so is road trip season. And if you're saying, yeah, sure, I would love to load everything up in my car and hit the road and go on a long road trip, but I don't trust my car. It's not dependable. Well, then go see my friends at Elk Grove Kia. They'll get you into something dependable and super affordable, like a brand new 2024 Kia Forte LXS for $19,988. Yep, at a time when the average new car price is over $48,000, Elk Grove Kia can get you into a brand new car for less than half of that. This car's loaded with automatic transmission, an 8-inch touchscreen with rear camera. It's got advanced driver assistance system, so it's got tech and safety. And again, this brand new 2024 Kia Forte LXS can be yours for only $19,988. Only at the #1 Sacramento Kia dealer, Elk Grove Kia, in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, and online at elkgrovekia.com. Elk Grove Kia sale price, $20,738. Kia rebate, $750. Net price, $19,988. One at this price. Stock number GK9219. Expires March 31st, 2024.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Fitty and Fiber, Dawson Oil Company, and Good Guys Heating and Cooling.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Asking the question, best versus most important, or maybe your answer is the same when it comes to De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, as Domantas Sabonis breaks the record for most consistent or consecutive double-doubles. 54, had a really nice moment last night in the building, a nice montage of all of his highlights and things like that. Vivek had some kind words for him. Obviously, Mike Brown had some kind words for him. Did you see that picture? Have you seen that picture of Mike Brown pointing to the basketball that Domas is holding? I've never seen Mike Brown smile bigger.
It's one of the scariest smiles I think I've ever seen in my life. Like, just look at this thing. It is so. He is literally like
no one has ever
he's
been
on like
happier.
Joker laughing gas or something like that. I've never seen a smile that large in my life. I've never seen somebody actually so happy for somebody else's accomplishment.
Yes.
In almost a scary way. It is a little bit like a "Here's Johnny" kind of face, but yeah, it was definitely something to see that as I got home yesterday.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna get memed, and it's
100%.
because I just can't wait.
I almost
for
made it my profile picture. I was like a half second away from
because the
making it
meme
my
is gonna
profile
be
picture.
you just got beamed, and it's gonna be
Maybe
a
I
picture,
should.
just a picture of Mike Brown on the Sack Chat. Curtis Hicks, Stiles and Watkins. It may be more of a question of consistency versus production and high leverage moments versus game plan. Yeah, I mean, I think you have
Sure.
De'Aaron Fox, who could be a game breaker, right? But you don't get to break the game if the game plan has already been broken. And I think they need each other.
Yes.
They literally need each other. And it's not necessarily just a Kings thing. This is the world we live in. I mean, you got Batman and you got Robin. You got the Justice League. Nobody is out here doing it by their lonesome if you really want to take down some of these big villains out in these streets. From the 916, I think Sabonis is the backbone of this team, and Fox is the explosive ability that other teams can't stop. Very similar to the game breaker. That is from Christopher.
Yeah.
Let's get to Ashley, who's been hanging out on the line, 916-339-1140. Ashley, what you got for us?
So personally, my take would be, I think that Sabonis is probably the most important player for this team and potentially also the best. And my reason is, and I do think that you need both Fox and Sabonis. I do want to state that, but my reason is I think that with the Kings, we're 16th in fast break points, which is typically something that De'Aaron's going to be more often leading.
Right.
Where second chance points were 12th, but then the big thing is we're first in opponents' second chance points, and so Domas is the one who's preventing that more often than not. And what he provides both on the offensive end and defensive end when it comes to rebounding and just being in the right spots, all that, I think that he might be the best player on this team.
Thanks for the call, Ashley. Yeah,
great numbers.
It is tough, and some great information there on the fast breaks and also stopping those second chance points. Ultimately, I think the answer has to be Sabonis. He just does so much.
I know, it's just crazy. It's just because, like, again, I think if you just ask your general person who lives in whatever, Boston, they're going to say De'Aaron Fox. Like, and they're not even going to think twice about it. And then if you try and tell them as somebody who watches the Kings every game, you're like, actually it's probably actually Domantas Sabonis here. And I think if you were to ask a lot of Kings fans, it seems like at the least it's like a split decision, if not like a 6-10 thing here. I think people will be really, really surprised by that. And I think that plays into the Sabonis narrative as well, that, that people just hate on him because they don't really watch him. But it is really interesting just how that duo is really viewed. Cause I think people view Domantas Sabonis as the clear number 2, but I think I told you even at the start of this season, I was like, it's kind of weird, but I almost would say Domantas Sabonis was the Kings MVP last year, as crazy as it was. And after going through this season, I don't even think it's a question that Sabonis has been their most valuable player this year in terms of if you're going to give that individual award to somebody on this team. It's Sabonis, no doubt. And I think, De'Aaron has definitely had some ups and downs this season, and Sabonis has quite literally done the opposite of that and only really had ups with this 54-game consecutive streak. It's just really crazy. But I do think that at the same time, I'm sure there's people out there who might call in, if you're one of these people too, who are like, this is kind of crazy. Again, De'Aaron Fox is the most talented. He's the guy that this team's been building around for X amount of years. I still think that there is a really strong case for De'Aaron out there too.
We have not seen anyone or heard anyone say De'Aaron.
Yeah.
And I think what it is if you're looking for somebody, it's just two different roles, right?
Completely.
But we don't like to fence sit on this show, even though that's always the easy answer. I think the bottom line is if you're looking for somebody to set the tone, it has to be Sabonis.
Yeah.
If you're looking for somebody to get you a win after the tone has been set,
right.
that's De'Aaron.
Yeah.
Nobody wants the ball in Sabonis's hands with 10 seconds in the fourth quarter in a tie game. If tonight Luka makes a crazy shot to tie it up, there's 10 seconds left. I think if Sabonis took that last shot, unless it's a layup or bunny or dunk, you'd probably say, why didn't we go to De'Aaron there?
Right.
Even though we're still saying that Sabonis, and that's a question of best versus most important. Let's get to JR, see what his thoughts are. What's up, JR? What you got for us?
Yeah, of all the shows on this wonderful station, there's nothing better than Simone answering the phone. That is just the best. Seriously, no disrespect to Chrissy J.
Absolutely.
I hear
you. Yeah. So I'm sitting there next to
I'm
Adam
still here,
last night.
JR, just let you know.
I know. I had a feeling he was back there. All right. Yeah, go watch some soccer, big boy. Hey, so I'm sitting there next to Adam last night saying, hey, how could your league not vote this guy, number 10, into your all-star game you call?
Yeah.
And,
what'd he say?
No answer. No answer. He basically took his gum out of his mouth, threw it on the floor at UTC 1. Disrespect to us all, right? I mean, Adam Silver's middle name is Sam, so you figure that out. That's it. You needed to vote him in. He needs to be the MVP. I'll tell you right now, you just hit. That was a pretty good take, by the way, Stiles, because he is the MVP for every day, or it needs to get the engine going, but nobody wants the ball in his hands. In fact, sometimes when he dribbles, last night his best play when he dribbled up the middle and laid it down. Was it Duarte that came down the middle?
Yes,
with the slam. That might have been the best play. All four of the freaking Sixers are staring at him. They're all staring at him. And Duarte just came down the middle simply, and he was in the middle of the air and he did a little bounce pass down the key. That is Demonis. That is freaking badass right there. Love this show. You guys rock. And Simone, you have a voice like silk. Bye-bye.
Thanks for the call,
Thanks,
JR, as always. And it's pretty much that, right? You need Sabonis to get to the point where De'Aaron can take over.
Yes.
Without Sabonis,
right. And it's not just him, it's everybody.
It's everybody. Yeah. Without Sabonis setting the tone, De'Aaron Fox probably won't get a chance to take over at the end. And that's why it's a starter and a closer almost if you're talking baseball or something like that. So I think they're both just as important, and it just depends on what part of the game you're in. Right. This team, to your point, Sabonis could have a triple-double every game in the playoffs, and if De'Aaron doesn't show up, they could get swept.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
They could get swept. So the importance is right there, but at the same time, it's a yin and yang.
Yeah.
You literally need both of them.
But on that opposite to that yin-yang point, like last year you had De'Aaron show up every single game, and then I'm not saying Sabonis didn't show up, but again, the Warriors really fixated on trying to take away everything that Sabonis creates for everybody else, and you see how maybe if the creation of Sabonis would have worked a little bit better in that playoff series, maybe that's simply the difference of the Kings winning and losing that series.
Yeah, that's exactly, I think, what we're going to see. We'll see what, I know the Mavericks don't play a lot of defense, but we'll see what they try to do tonight to slow down Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. TC, we see ya. We will get to you when we return. Also, continuing the conversation, of course, your calls, your texts. And Keegan Murray doing his best John Wick impression. I'm thinking I'm back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Keep it here to Sactown Sports for the Sacramento Kings push toward the postseason.
Get analysis from our local shows, breakdowns from our Kings insiders, and all the thrilling moments from the G-Man.
Fox now on the left angle, gets to two-point range, lobs it out to Herter, wide open. 3 to seal the deal. He's got the triple, and Fox has a career-high 16th assist.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave inviting you to make the switch to electric this spring and save big with American Energy. Stay ahead of the spiking energy bills this summer with up to $9,000 in rebates on a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. American Energy is providing huge rebates from SMUD as well as spring specials by installing one of many incredibly efficient AC options available to you right now. Get rid of those fluctuating gas bills in the winter and switch to year-round all-electric with American Energy. Let them perform a free in-home energy efficiency analysis and see where they can help you save for the warmer months ahead. These guys are the best. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Learn more by calling 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now. Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Brakes? We can save you 15% on that. We have OE quality Duralast brake pads and rotors in stock, ready for pickup or delivery. We also have calipers, brake fluid, tools, and anything else you'll need to do the job right. When you get Duralast pads and rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Progressive presents 10 things on a plumber's to-do list that are harder than getting a small business insurance quote. Waking up for 5 a.m. plumbing disasters, finding out why water is pouring from the ceiling while telling a customer to leave the room, replacing a pipe in a home from the 1800s, then dealing with invoices or your awkward apprentice or that really weird smell, and then there's breathing and eating and, of course, clogs. But the easiest thing on any small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you could save on the business insurance that's right for you. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
With RT Painting, our name says it all. We are a reliable and trusted commercial and residential painting company serving the Sacramento area since 1998. Employee-owned, our attention to detail is second to none. Put our decades of experience serving our community to use for you. Get a free quote today. Call us at 916-900-8112. That's 916-900-8112. Or go online to rtpainting.com. That's rtpainting.com. RT Painting, your trusted and reliable painting contractor of choice.
Are you stressing about your IRS tax problems? Have you received notices from the IRS threatening to garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, or seize your property? You need an ally. Allies Tax Relief has tax attorneys and enrolled agents that are ready to fight for you. They have saved millions for taxpayers just like you. Allies Tax Relief can help put a stop to IRS collections and, most importantly, negotiate your tax debt. Here's Brenda, a happy client of Allies Tax Relief.
I owed the IRS around $57,000, and they're about to start garnishing my paychecks. I heard a commercial on the radio about Allies Tax Relief, so I thought I'd give them a call. After a day, they were able to at least stop the garnishments, and after a few months of negotiations, I walked away owing the IRS only $301.
If you owe the IRS, call Allies Tax Relief right now for your free consultation. Call 800-230-5174. 800-230-5174. That's 800-230-5174.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints of the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
Get in on the action at Sky River Casino in Elk Grove. With over 80 table games, more than 2,100 slot machines, and a thrilling high-limit room, you'll enjoy a casino experience on a whole new level. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Domantas Sabonis takes care of business. 54 straight double-doubles. Still waiting to see if he gets that endorsement from In-N-Out. Grilled onions, light tomato.
They don't really do endorsement. Like, they don't
extra
do
pickles.
commercials or anything.
They don't need to. The double-doubles, they just continue, and we believe he will get
animal style.
Animal style for sure. 55 for sure tonight against the Mavericks, who defense optional. Maybe we'll play. Maybe we
ABL.
won't.
Anyone but Luka.
We just call them the AAU team.
Yeah.
Because they're out there, they're just trying to get
Trying to
signed.
get buckets,
They
you know?
play like they're just trying to show off for their friends.
Yeah. Put together a nice little highlight reel.
That's right. Ball is life.
If they win, sure.
Yeah.
Why not? It's great. But they
Ball-
got a nice coach, nice, well-respected, well-known head coach and Jason Kidd.
Hashtag ball is life. And that's ultimately because Luka is going to find a way to play with Jokic, and we should all be very afraid
Very scared
of that. But for now, the Mavericks are trying to stay out of the play-in. Same with the Kings, and they will have an opportunity to go head-to-head in a 2-game series to, I guess, either way. What happens, Chris? Where does it go if the Mavericks win both? So then it's 2-2. Is it what happens after that? How do you do the tiebreaker?
I believe the tiebreaker would then go to conference record, if I'm not mistaken. It might go, I would think it would go to conference record after that. And I believe looking at their conference record, if Mavericks won these 2 games, they would have a better conference record than the Kings. So if that is what it is,
For now.
But and they're pretty much even. The Kings are 27-17. Dallas is 26-19 in conference. So again, if the Kings lose 2 games, Dallas will be 28-19. The Kings will be 27-19. So
from Nick K, how does Sabonis not have a McDonald's commercial where he promotes the McDouble? That would work too. Let's get to TC. Wants to be part of the Sabonis Fox conversation. What's up, TC? What you got for us?
Alan, Chris, what's up?
Not too much, man. What you got?
Man, just vibing, kind of fired up. I try to tell you about the team, man, being dangerous and coming together, man. Our defense rating, we're going to be one of the scariest teams to go in the playoffs. I truly believe that, man. I know we keep dropping games, but I try to tell my coworkers and friends and all that. We all diehard Kings fans, and I say, you know what? I'll take losing. I know it sounds weird, but I'll take losing to those weird games like Detroit and those weird games that we drop to know that we can mess with the big dogs. Everybody's tripping on this small. We keep losing to the small dogs, but nobody's looking at the top dogs: Minnesota, OKC, Denver. Like, we match up well with them. Even the Clippers, that last game we played with them, we match up well with them. Like the Pelicans, we can match up well with them on a good day. We just can't beat ourselves. Like, we're in the games when we play them, we just start doing stupid things, and then Brandon Ingram goes nuclear. We don't stop Zion from going to his left-hand side.
Right.
We can beat those guys. It's just we beat ourselves when we play the Pelicans. So we match up well, bro. We're going to be one of the most dangerous teams. To get on the Fox and Sabonis situation, you need both, bro. They just need to work on 2 things late in the game. Domas, be more assertive down the stretch. Call the ball. Tell the team, no, we're not taking 3-pointers. Give it to me in the post. I'm going to go get a basket. That's what Domas needs to work on late in the games instead of passing it. Fox, stop taking stupid shots, bro, when we don't need them. Just work on your shot selection. I know you've been working on your jumper, but it's his shot selection. Like that, the game we lost the other night when we were down by 4. What did we just lose to Washington? Bro, it's 3 minutes in the game, big dog. We're down 4. We don't need 3. You came down and jacked. We got 3 stops, and all of the shots were shot by you, and there were 3-pointers. Pick and choose, bro, when you need to shoot the shot. That's all I got, bro.
Thanks for the call, TC. They definitely have shown that they show up when the lights do get bright, at least this season, besides the in-season tournament with the Pelicans. That was the one thing we were hoping to see, and it didn't happen, but we move on. We move forward. Speaking of Chris, and great call from TC as always. Speaking of the Kings at Knicks, which is April 4th, has been upgraded to a TNT game.
Makes me nervous.
We just talked about how they've been showing up in these national games.
But it's against the Knicks, and we just saw how that Knicks game went in New York. And again, I'm going to continue to bring up last year's national televised game against the Knicks at Golden One Center when the Kings got destroyed on the offensive rebounding front. It didn't happen when they played them the other day, but that Knicks team is just a really, really strange matchup for the Kings. We'll see. I mean, I think, like you said, they've played really well on the biggest stages so far this season, but that I don't know, something about that Knicks game on TNT in the Garden. That's a really, really big stage for this team. And I hope they got something for them because, they realistically probably should have beaten the Knicks last time. They were just a Jalen Brunson superhero performance away from doing it. I don't know, man. Yeah, I love the fact that the Kings are, again, adding another game to national TV, but it makes me nervous. Just makes me nervous.
No, well, look. In the Garden, they're going to try to grind you down. That's what the Knicks do, and it's going to be an important game. There's no way it won't be an important game based on where we are at in the season. So the Knicks are going to be ready to go. They're in a fight. They're trying to stay away from the 4 and 5 seed. I think they might be able to sneak up to that 3. Ooh. They're in that situation with the Cavs and I believe the Magic as well. So that's going to be an important one, and hopefully the Kings will show up. But all of that will either mean a lot more or a lot less if they don't take care of business, or they do take care of business tonight against the Mavs. And a guy that could really, really help the Kings continue this stretch and has helped already is Keegan Murray.
Oh, yeah.
And going into his John Wick bag thinking he's back. I don't really care about the efficiency right now, Chris, because without Kevin Huerter, Keegan, we need you to take shots. And I'm going to do you one better. In the pregame presser last night, Coach Mike Brown was asked about Keegan Murray.
Yeah.
And asked about something that you've worried about a little bit, his demeanor, right? He's a very respectful guy. He's a very quiet guy. And Mike Brown was asked about how that translates. And pretty much he said that he's so nice and so respectful, sometimes he needs to make sure that he gets his. And what he referenced, which I didn't really realize, or I guess put 2 and 2 together, the way Coach Mike Brown referenced Keegan playing with older guys, he said that about 2 or 3 times in the duration of his answer, was almost the way you hear people talk about a freshman playing with upperclassmen or a sophomore playing with upperclassmen. He said sometimes he needs to just say, hey, with the options in this flow offense, this is going to go through me right now. And he also went on to say that if he continues to do that, the older guys will respect him more and look to him in those spots. So I actually, in this situation right now, I can't sit here and be mad when Keegan takes 5 shots and then be mad if he goes 3 of 11 from 3 and 9 of 20 from the field. Would I like him to make more? Of course I would. Yeah. But with this team where they're at right now, I will take Keegan taking 11 3-pointers every day of the week.
No, absolutely. You're totally right, because beggars can't be choosers, and we can't say Keegan Murray needs to be aggressive. They need Keegan Murray without Kevin Huerter, and then be upset at the fact that he took 11 threes. Like, it doesn't matter that he only made 3 of them. Of course, like you said, you would love to see the shots go in, but the fact that also, to add to your point, he was 3 of 5 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
And that means he went 0 of 6 the rest of the game. I was upset about it, but after hearing you say that, you're right. Like, the important thing or the note to take out of that is Keegan kept shooting. Mm-hmm. How many times have we seen him start to go cold and then say, or he doesn't say it, but you can almost see it with his body language saying, other guys probably have it more than I do tonight. Yeah. Maybe it shouldn't be me. Maybe let me swing it. It'll be the better play. I'll let somebody else shoot it. We have more than capable guys out there. That shouldn't be the case. And you're right. Like, Keegan just keeping his foot on the gas, regardless of whether or not he's hitting his shot or not, I think is hugely important, because he's got to have an ego at some point. He's got to have a bit of, I'm Keegan Murray, and the guy across from me can't can't stay in front of me. And
No.
it just feels like there's not enough of that. And it is interesting to hear, like you said, Mike Brown kind of talk about him in that fashion. I wonder how much of that is the Kings don't have like a true rookie in their building this season. Colby Jones, obviously, Jalen Slauson, but those guys aren't with the team all season.
Right.
So in a weird way, Keegan still is the rookie. He's still the youngest guy out
Right.
there. And I think, they probably treat him as so. And I think Keegan is also, as you mentioned, with his personality, he's more than fine taking that back seat. He's not going to push and say, there's a hierarchy and they took me for, and the future plans are with me. Though I would say I would probably prefer a little bit more of that. I think he needs to have a bit more ego, and especially as we're heading towards the playoffs, Kings are going to need that consistent third scorer, especially with Malik being a bit down right now. You're going to need Keegan to pick it up here, and he definitely has these last couple games.
We want Keegan to keep shooting, but the question is, why does he seem to start out hot and cool off at the end of the games? Why does that continue to happen? We discuss when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuits seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-230-0194. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-230-0194. That's 800-230-0194. Again, 800-230-0194.
Join Chris Watkins and the Sactown Sports Street Team this Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. at Fieldhouse American Sports Pub for some basketball madness and their mouthwatering full menu, 1310 Fulton Avenue. See you there.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Keegan Murray, 2 games now, even 3 games now. He has started out pretty hot and gotten fairly cold to end the game. And they ran a lot of different looks at Tyrese Maxey. There are a couple times where Keegan got blown by Tyrese Maxey. Not that we're asking Keegan to guard an all-star guard who's one of the quickest guards this side of De'Aaron Fox. But I'm trying to figure out why Keegan is going so cold later in games. Is it simply, and you've talked about how from the time he got drafted, it's just been basketball. There hasn't been a lot of downtime or off time. Is it simply just conditioning?
I really don't know. I mean, if I wish I had an answer, that would be my guess, is just tired legs. But we've seen him here recently hit a couple shots in the fourth quarter off dribble handoffs, but he just kind of goes cold, or at least doesn't. I wouldn't even really say goes cold. He just kind of disappears, honestly. Like the other day, I can't remember if it was against Orlando or the Washington game where he had 8 of the Kings' first 12 points.
Right.
And then I don't think he scored until the third or fourth quarter. He'll just go a couple quarters without much action. And I don't know if that's fatigue. I don't know if that's what Mike Brown's talking about with him just kind of letting others establish themselves and not making sure he's getting a steady diet. It's really interesting for sure. I would attribute some of it to fatigue, but for the most part, I mean, I just think that it's him and him just trying to figure out how to play NBA basketball still. Like, he is still in his second season, and they call it a sophomore slump for a reason. It's usually the season where things get really real and you stop, having to get treated with kid gloves and you're really thrown in the fire. And I think at this point in the season, you're just kind of seeing Keegan feel the wares of that a bit. But he's also playing really well right now as well. Last 3 games, he's shooting 50% from 3, averaging 20 points per game. Even though last game wasn't super efficient, still shooting 55% the last 3 games and 50% from 3. And he's also had a couple big rebounding games as well. So it's about figuring out how you can, if you're not hitting shots even in those moments or taking shots even in those moments, can you get some boards? Can you get some assists? Can you get some steals? Can you get some blocks? He's now got 4 straight games with a block, and most of those 3 of the last 4 have been with 2 blocks. So he's contributing on other ends as well.
Yeah, and that is the growth of Keegan that we've been wanting to see, and essentially we need to see in order for the Kings to get where they want to go. Looking at his 3-point shot, it looks like it always looks. It doesn't look like it is any different towards the end of games. So I think the way you could look at this is you could look at it and say, Keegan started the game off and ended the first quarter with 17 points. How in the world did he end the game with 23? That means he had 6 more points for the rest of the game. Or you could look at it and say, at least Keegan gave you 17 in 1 quarter. Right. He ends with 23. Doesn't matter where it came.
Yep.
That's why you have other scores that should be able to pick up the slack. So maybe that's the way to look at it. A second-year guy who's able to give you 17 in 1 quarter and alleviate the De'Aaron Foxes and the Malik Monks of the world so they can get going a little bit later. Maybe that's the way to look at it, and just try not to ask too much of Keith.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, he is a bit of a supporting actor even still, so that is probably the best way, the healthiest way of looking at it. That really any sort of contribution like that. I mean, 17 points in a quarter, it got overshadowed because Tyrese Maxey had 21, but 17 is crazy. And you're right. Like, the fact that it allows De'Aaron to kind of not have to go superstar mode in the first quarter. It allows Sabonis to kind of not have to do what he always does in the first quarter and end with like 6 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists at the end of one. It just kind of takes the pressure off of everybody else. And that is really key, especially again, at this point in the season when everybody's gassed. It's game 71. Everybody's kind of looking towards the end of the season. It's nice to have a quarter where, you can kind of feel like, well, let's just keep giving Keegan the ball, and maybe he can just keep knocking it down. I think it's a huge value to this game.
And what I like to see from Keegan, we know the 3-pointers and what he was able to do last season. He's trying to get back there this season. But that midi, I thought the mid-range was dead.
Yeah.
He's really starting to utilize that midi. And it's not one-footed, but I know they got the Mavs tonight. It's got a little Dirk.
A little bit.
A little Dirk.
Yeah, he got that little fade.
Little fade away, little Kobe-esque. And I think he unlocked cash. When you talk about, NBA 2K or whatever, I think he unlocked that this season.
Yes.
That is definitely a new move
from
Keegan. And can I just say, talking about the new Keegan Murray moves, I cannot say this based on any knowledge other than just me seeing what is happening from day to day. Keegan has definitely gone to the school of the Harrison Barnes stop.
Oh, the slow Euro.
Slow-mo Euro.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do the layup. He looks just like Harrison on those moves. He definitely saw Harrison and said, I like that. I'm going to start doing that.
He is like a bit of a chameleon, right? Where it's like you see him. I mean, he worked all summer with De'Aaron. I think that's where he got that step back move from.
Yeah.
He also has this weird like stutter step move that he got from De'Aaron as well. The slow-mo HB Euro step. I haven't been able to tell sometimes if it's intentional or not, but he definitely, you definitely see something and then you're like, okay, like I think I know how it's done. You got to do it a couple times yourself to get the rhythm of it. But yeah, I mean, it's things like that. And, Mike Brown was talking the other day about how Keon, is teaching, or some of the guys are picking up on things Keon does. I'm sure Keegan's one of those people. He definitely seems like somebody who is just going to, pick up on other things. And yeah, he's quiet, but he's going to move in silence. And I'm not going to say like, what is it? G's move in silence like
lasagna.
As I said, I wasn't going to say it. I think that's really how Keegan moves. Is just he is a bit like a sponge. Like, yeah, you might yell at him and feel like none of it's getting through, but I do think he really does internalize those things. And the thing about, we talk about his attitude and his passiveness. I think the one thing that I do know is true is he does want to be great. Like, it's not like he's afraid of the moment or afraid of being too big of a star or anything. He wants to work. I think that's really all he wants to do, though, is play basketball. And he doesn't really like all of the ego stuff that goes along with it. So I do think it's going to continue to get better and better with Keegan. It's going to be interesting to see when does his personality and his game start to clash and which side ends up winning, really.
You're going to see the complete opposite of what the Kings are. We talk about the Kings being even keel and level-headed. Coach Mike Brown has said that about Keon specifically, about the team in general. We will see the opposite of that tonight. There's going to be a lot of highs and a lot of lows with the Mavericks, and that is led by the head of the snake, one Luka Doncic. When we return, is it crazy to talk about the 4 seed? Do you even want the 4 seed? De'Aaron Fox has quietly found a groove, and also Mike Brown out of town. Where y'all at?
Where you at?
Our guy is getting hot. Yes, coaches can get hot too. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no account to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Hey guys, do you know your T-level? Revive Men's Health here in Sacramento is helping you take that first step toward better health and enhanced intimacy with a free testosterone level test, exam, and consultation. Plus, for this month only, qualified patients can kickstart their treatment with a free supply of ED medication. Call Revive Men's Health Sacramento at 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Right now, while you're sitting on the couch or just driving around, your friends are at the Hagen Oaks Driving Range powered by Top Tracer. The vibe is perfect whether you're an accomplished player or a newbie. Play a variety of fun games, play Pebble Beach, or compete against friends at the Hagen Oaks Driving Range. Hungry? The Hangout Food Truck offers burgers, chicken strips, and more. Check the summer-long free concert schedule. Be a part of the fun at the Hagen Oaks Driving Range, Fulton Avenue at Cap City Freeway, open until midnight.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Fidium Fiber, Dawson Oil Company, and Good Guys Heating and Cooling.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Patrick Donaldson. Barnes did a move last night that was so slow. The refs called a travel, and he didn't travel. But it was so slow, they must have assumed it, LOL. Because these are some big dudes. To stop your momentum, not that Harrison is flying down the lane, but it's impressive to me.
It's crazy
to stop like that. And it's not really a good position to be in because you're very close to traveling every single time.
Every time.
All it takes is one person and Harrison has gotten lost in the sauce before.
Yes, no, I'm watching the highlight right now, and he does put his second foot down. It was a travel, but it was a very Harrison Barnes-esque. But to your point, actually, it's exactly what you're saying. Pretty much what happens is Mo Bamba knocks into him, and then he has to put his second foot down.
Because you're not supposed to do that.
You can't just the rules say you could literally just stand on that 1 foot the entire possession.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, it doesn't make a lot of sense with a bunch of bodies flying around to just be on 1 foot like a flamingo or something like that and try and take the shot. But it works for HB because
he does it all the time.
Every time. You would think somebody would read a scouting report just once in a while.
But what would it say? Loves
slow Euro steps.
There's not even
stay
Euro.
down.
That's not even a Euro.
It is. It's definitely a Euro step. It's 100% a Euro step. He does the same movement. It's
Eastern
just
Europe. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know what part of Europe it's from. It's definitely not the mainstream Euro step, but HB went into the lab. Maybe he, I don't know. Maybe he did some Bane thing where
it's
he went
unique.
Into a tunnel
It's
and
unique.
Found out the ancient secrets of the slow Euro and is trying to bring it to the
down.
He's passing it to Keegan. It's just okay.
I want to see
so.
everyone on the team do it.
Just do it once.
I need to see JaVale do it. If I see JaVale do it, I will lose it.
You lost me.
You lost me. I will lose it. But someone who has not lost it and continues to find it is De'Aaron Fox, with the Keon talk, with the Sabonis talk, with the Keegan Murray talk, you forget about De'Aaron Fox and how important he is to this team.
Yeah.
Well, the last 10 games, he's been incredibly important, and the numbers support that as well. He's averaging 24 points, 24.3 points, 33% from three, 85% free throw shooter, averaging 5.6 assists a game, 6.3 rebounds per game, and possibly the most important stat here, 2.5 steals a game.
Crazy.
We are not talking enough about De'Aaron Fox, and I get it. Expectations. That's your main guy. He's your franchise player. You expect it. But if De'Aaron Fox hasn't been as steady as he has been these last 10 games, the Kings are in a bad spot. And we can talk as much as we want about Keon Ellis. We can talk as much as we want about some of these other guys.
Yep.
De'Aaron Fox is who other teams, we talked about Sabonis is who they're game planning for, but they know if they don't put a lid on De'Aaron Fox, that thing can get out of hand.
Yep. No, and De'Aaron's also leading tied for the lead in the NBA for steals this month. He's also really high up there in deflections as well. I think he's only behind Alex Caruso in the month of March when it comes to total deflections. He's actually fourth right now in total deflections at 47, which is the number Mike Brown or is the stat that Mike Brown likes to look at on the defensive end. He's been incredible. I mean, even though he hasn't been the 30-point per game scorer that he was earlier in the season, he's been doing it on both ends of the floor. And frankly, I mean, someone put it in my chat yesterday, with how well everybody else is playing, you got Sabonis showing up every night. You've had that Keon Ellis game. You've had a couple good HB nights here recently. It hasn't really needed De'Aaron Fox to be that 33 plus or 30 plus point per game scorer. And even then you had a 44-point game from De'Aaron not that long ago against the Lakers earlier this month. So he's been everything that this team has needed. He's done the thing. I remember one of our first shows, I kind of came down his road saying, he goes by Swipe of the Fox, but never really been in the tops of the league in steals. And it really does feel like maybe they were on in the locker room or something like that, or we were on in the locker room.
They definitely heard the show. Sounds
like De'Aaron heard us or heard me specifically. And ever since then, he's been better than Shea when it comes to steals. And Shea had a full steal per game advantage over everybody in the league. And De'Aaron's closed that up. And again, not just with the steals, but with deflections as well. He's done everything that I think Mike Brown has asked of him recently. And again, that's probably exactly what he wants out of one of the best players on his team.
Yeah.
One of the two best players on his team.
Right. And the defense, Coach said it from the beginning of the season that De'Aaron can be elite, an elite two-way. I think every team wants to believe their franchise guy can be an elite two-way.
Absolutely.
I don't think the Mavericks care too much about that right now with Luka, but I think that De'Aaron takes a lot of pride in all the parts of his game, and because of that, he's growing in front of our eyes. Right. And De'Aaron, it hasn't been too long where he's been the franchise guy for a playoff team with expectations. And that's another thing that Coach said yesterday in the pregame presser. He literally said, all of these guys have different roles than last season.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had to navigate that throughout the course of this season. And they're all growing. And he was basically saying that Keegan was a microcosm of the rest of the team, just all growing, all learning together. And De'Aaron, you see what he did last season, and all of a sudden it's, well, is he going to be this? Is he going to be that? And sometimes you got to take a step back to realize that he is still growing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as if De'Aaron is 30 years old here in the height of his prime, or 29, whatever it is. He's still growing as well. And we're seeing the evolution. He's seeing more doubles. I asked him about it last week. He's seeing more doubles, which is leading to him making more.
Right.
He was not a playmaker like this last season as far as passing the basketball. His scoring might have been more eye-popping, but De'Aaron is learning, I have to take what the defense is giving me, and because of that, I can still be what I need to be when it matters most.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I saw a number the other day as well where he's, I'll have to look at it because it's almost one of those numbers that's too high to even believe, but he was like, I think Stat Mamba is the account that put it out. De'Aaron's shooting 96% at the rim, which again is something that I'm going to have to look up because that essentially is saying he's missed one or two shots at the rim here recently. But I mean, it's been exactly what this team has asked for. It seems like, again, we've talked about De'Aaron and his reliance on the three ball. He had that big 15 3-point attempt game the other day. Followed it up with a 12 attempt game against the Magic. He's back down to 6. Like, I think his shot selection's been a lot better. I do still think he's got that superstar in him. I don't think he's feeling fatigued or anything. Again, I think a big reason why you're seeing him fall more so in the mid to low 20s here in terms of points is just the fact that it hasn't been necessary. So I think it's good that they're getting wins without De'Aaron being a superstar. I think it's great that leading into the playoffs, he's going to get a little bit of, a lessened workload here because, again, during the playoffs, it's going to be full throttle. De'Aaron Fox is going to be taking 25 shots a night every single playoff game. So it's good that the Kings are playing this basketball right now, and it's great that De'Aaron is kind of, and it doesn't sound like it's just De'Aaron. It sounds like everybody's kind of figuring out how to master their role right now, and I think it's showing in the results. Again, the Kings have, of those 10 games that you just listed there, Kings are 7-3 in their last 10 games. So they're really, really clicking right now.
Yeah, and let's not forget, when was that? Was that January or December when Coach said, this is the most connected team I've been a part of? When was that?
That was probably
before?
in December, I would guess. Yeah, that was a while ago.
And not that we didn't believe it, but we thought, okay, well, we'll see, right?
Yeah.
They're in the midst of losing games. And look, we're not trying to act like everything is honky-dory. They did just lose to the Wizards last week. But the bottom line is they still have the ability to control what's in front of them, and they have an opportunity here with, they're coming off a back-to-back, but at least they were at home. A Mavs team that's coming in straight off the plane from Utah. Now they have to play the Kings, and right after that, they have to stay in Sacramento for a weird amount of time and then face the Kings again. So the Kings have an opportunity to right not all their wrongs, but a lot of their wrongs of the season, and possibly all of their wrongs if they play their cards right and if they really get on a heater. You're sitting here now, and you're 6 wins away, Chris, from the amount of wins that they had last season, and that means you're 8 wins away from possibly getting to that elusive 50 games. Now, you got to get on a heater.
Yeah.
You have to get on a heater.
You're going to have
but
to beat some good teams.
You're going to have to beat some good teams, but with De'Aaron Fox and how he's really, he just looks in control.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't ever look frantic. He had a really bad pass last night, and we both looked at each other.
Didn't make sense.
What'd you see there, De'Aaron? But for the most part, he is playing at his own speed.
Yeah.
When he wants to turn it up, he'll turn it up. When he wants to turn it down, he'll turn it down. And I don't think there are a lot of guys that have the ability to do that with the mid-range jump shot that he has.
Yeah, and it's going to be really interesting these next two games going against Kyrie, who's a guy that I know De'Aaron respects a lot. Those two are going to go at it, and I know De'Aaron's going to be up for the challenge. I do think that this is going to be a little mini series here where De'Aaron is probably going to ramp up the intensity a bit. I think he's going to try and give Kyrie hell. I think he has a massive respect for Kyrie's game. He's talked about it in the past. Just obviously how good of a ball handler Kyrie is. I really think it's going to be a really fun matchup between those two. I think they're going to go head to head. I'm sure Keon's going to play some defense.
You think De'Aaron's going to want to check him?
I think De'Aaron's going to want to check him. I definitely think come fourth quarter, De'Aaron's going to want that responsibility.
Mano.
And we'll see. I mean, I remember earlier in the season, you said, is it really a good idea for De'Aaron to be guarding the best guys in the fourth quarter? That's kind of what Keon Ellis is here for. I think De'Aaron's just a straight up competitor, and I think he's going to look at that challenge and he's going to say, I want it because I want to show everybody. I want to show the nation. I think both of these Mavericks games are going to be on national TV. I believe this first one is on NBA TV and the second one's on TNT or it's reversed. He's going to want to show the nation that he is
this on TNT tonight.
Oh my gosh.
On TNT tonight.
And then NBA TV on Friday. He's going to want to show the nation exactly what you just laid out, that he isn't just doing it on the offensive end. It's the 2.5 steals as well. It's the uptick in deflections. It's the fact that this team has been the best, if not the second best defensive team in the month of March. And these are great two opportunities for them to show it. And I definitely think De'Aaron's going to have a major, major role in both of these games.
He's going to have to.
He kills Dallas also.
This is from the 916. Will the real De'Aaron please stand up? He's been on one lately from Amid Rock. I think that this is going to be the real De'Aaron moving forward. At least I think and I hope, because if the Kings want to get where they want to go and they see that light, we got pocket watching coming up in a little bit here. If the Kings see the light at the end of the tunnel the way they do now with that Brandon Ingram injury, and the Pelicans are still playing good ball, but with the Clippers being Kleenex and being Charmin soft, there is an opportunity. But it all starts tonight against the Mavericks to see if they've truly, truly found that groove. And part of the way that they found the groove is through their defense. Is it here to stay? We'll hear from Mike Brown. We'll hear from the man himself, De'Aaron Fox, about the defense. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints of the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Dirty Heads, live in concert.
Every single day.
Friday, April 12th, 7:30 p.m. The venue in Thunder Valley. Special guest, The Elevators. On sale at ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss Dirty Heads Live.
Rescue me.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle Draper here from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. If you're an entrepreneur with a vehicle fleet, I'll tell you that outfitting your van fleet with Mercedes-Benz vans is a very smart business move. Here's why. If you use it for business, you'll likely qualify for substantial tax breaks. Plus, they're rugged, sophisticated cargo haulers that you will love driving. You'll also love the way these things look with your company logo on them. And finally, it is Mercedes Madness season. That's right. Rates are available starting at 4.9% APR. Choose from any of 60 vans available right now at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton's Commercial Fleet Center next to their stunning new showroom. These folks wrote the book on what true customer service looks like. I'm a car and truck enthusiast, and I mean it when I tell you that the customer service you can expect at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best. Go see their beautiful new Mercedes showroom just a half hour from SAC, right off I-5, online as well at mbofstockton.com.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Defense wins championships. And the Kings defense is top 15 in the NBA.
Not only that, they are 14, top 14.
14, excuse me. Put some respect.
They are above average. We can officially say
That's
the Kings
right.
are above average at defense.
That's right.
Took us a year and, I don't know, some change to get there, but better than average.
Mike Brown, defensive guy.
That's
we
right.
knew that's exactly where he wanted the team to go, and it's taken a bit, but they seem to have gotten there. The Kings have held 4 of their last 8 opponents under 100 points. They held 5 under 100 in their previous 63 games, 9 straight games holding opponents under 112. Is it too simple? I don't want to give too much credit to Keon.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard not to.
It's the right question to ask for sure. Whitey asked me it the other day, and it's really hard. Like, we can go on and on. You know, we just talked about De'Aaron for a good bit there. He's you know, as good as Keon has been on the defensive end, De'Aaron's a step above him in every single number. Granted, Keon plays a lot less minutes than De'Aaron does, but De'Aaron's got as many deflections, got as many steals, all that stuff. So it's, you know, while, yes, Keon obviously has a huge part of it, it's not just singularly Keon. On that same token, it is a large part because Keon Ellis is playing the amount of minutes that he is. And again, Mike Brown talked about it the other day. I'm going to keep talking about it. Keon Ellis's defense is contagious here. And I think that we've seen, you know, even if it is something as simple as Malik Monk saying, hey, this dude's taking it really seriously on this end of the floor. Why shouldn't, you know, it's working out for him. You see the direct result in the deflections, in the steals. If we play with that level of intensity, who knows what can happen? You see them being much better on closeouts. Mike Brown has been telling us here the past couple of weeks. He reiterated it yesterday in the pregame. He literally took it back to fundamentals with these guys when it comes to the defensive end. I do think that plays a part into it too. And I do think it's an interesting side conversation of what does that tell you about, and I want to ask Mike Brown about this actually. I don't know when the right time would be, but the fact that he has said that he had to spend so much time on the fundamentals of defense.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? Maybe not even necessarily about this Kings team, but just in general about how we are teaching basketball here, because it's tough to not say. Mike Brown says that he taught these guys or had to go back to fundamentals, and then all of a sudden these guys just become an above average defense when everybody has said the past year and a half they're maybe the 18th best at best. I have to attribute some of that to just lack of information, like ignorance, really. I think that a lot of these guys weren't taught the proper fundamentals of defense. And then Mike Brown, you know, especially again at the pro level, you wouldn't think, like, you just wouldn't assume that a coach would have to spend time talking about literally elementary stuff.
Yeah.
But Mike Brown took the time to say, you know what? We're playing so bad defensively, it can't hurt. And I do think that had a really big impact, that these guys maybe throughout time, their fundamentals got loose. Maybe, Malik Monk's an offensive star. Coach Calipari probably never asked him to play defense or sound defense. And so I think that has played a really big factor into it as well, that these guys literally have been coached on just doing the simple basics of defense.
Mike Brown yesterday said that he's never spent as much time as he has with this team on closeouts. On closeouts. Just on closeouts for shooters. So
he's talking about high fives.
He's talking about high fives. I mean, this is some basic stuff, but sometimes you got to be reminded, and also be reminded, hey guys, if you want to get here, this is how you have to do it, right? You can't just get there by scoring buckets. That's what we did last year.
Yeah.
And we got bounced in the first round.
That's right.
We're trying to be better. We're trying to improve. Let's hear from Mike Brown and what he had to say about the Kings embracing the defense.
Yeah, we're going to talk defense. But we know we're a good offensive team, and we're going to be able to find a way to score points. But at the end of the day, the more that we embrace defending, that's a better chance we're going to have, because now we don't put as much pressure on us to make the wide open shot or to make this play or to make that play. We can play free while knowing that, hey, if we buckle down, we're going to be all right, because we can get 110 easy. We can get 115 or 112 pretty easy with the guys we have. But we can't give that up, because we might not always get 122, So it's fun when your team embraces that side of the floor, especially when they're as talented offensively as they are.
I mean, yeah, that's literally what you just said. I mean, is as simple as, last year they thought, hey, we can go out here and we can score 120 points every night. Let's just get into a shootout, and we think we can out offense them. Well, that's just making it way harder on yourself than what it needs to be, because that's exactly what Mike's saying is, look, again, I feel like the Kings can have a bad shooting night and still end up with 112, 114. It's going to be tough to get to 120 if you're just straight up not hitting shots, but you can patch together 110 points, 112 points. Well, those games become a whole lot easier to win if you're playing defense and you're holding your opponents like the Kings have here below 112, below 110. If you can hold them below 100, you're probably going to win all of those games if you're the Kings. So it really, as important as the offense is, as important as it is that the Kings make their money on the offensive end, they're going to win championships on the defensive end. And that's the biggest cliche of it all. But it is true. I mean, this team, I have no fear that this team can go out and win a shootout with legitimately any team in this league. But that's not going to be the case. And the shots aren't always going to fall, as we saw last year in the playoffs. You've got to play defense. You've got to be able to at least figure out how you can slow another team down or not let them get into what they want to get into, because you're going to run into a team probably like Denver at some point where you're not going to be able to stop them, but you're going to have to be able to at least slow them down and make it difficult for them. And at the very least, the Kings are making it tougher on opponents. And yeah, I think some of it is a little bit of regression back to normal. The Kings were a ridiculous 3-point shooting opposing team. Opponents were shooting like 40% walking into the Golden One Center. Right. So a bit of that number had to come down naturally, but at the same time, again, with things like the closeouts, I do think that plays a factor into it as well. And I do think at the end of the day, come playoff time, this team is going to have to defend if they want to win a playoff series.
They have to, and they'll have a great chance tonight against two elite scorers. From the 209, the entire Kings team has bought into the defense, and it's showing now. Their defense has been clamps. Mike Brown has installed that in all the guys. Big fan of you both. Big love, bros. Go Kings from the 209. Thank you to the 209. Let's hear from De'Aaron Fox, who had some things to say about the defense and who he's giving the credit to. We'll get to it. And a lot of it is giving Keon some of that credit and also understanding what they can do offensively and how it's not
totally
enough.
Yeah.
it's just not enough. Here's De'Aaron Fox.
Physicality, I think, just point of attack, I think we're starting a lot better. Obviously, I think Keon has a lot to do with that. And what we've done since All-Star break, we're not necessarily, I don't want to say we're like focusing on defense more than offense, but we've been a much better defensive team, and we need to continue that. We know that we know what we can do offensively, and I think the league knows that as well. But with what we're doing defensively, it kind of doesn't matter how your offense is that night. You give yourself a chance to win. Physicality, I think.
They're buying in.
Yeah, I mean, and you love to see it. I mean, because it really does take all five, man. Like, you can have three people on a defensive string, but one person forgets their assignment and literally the entire thing is blown up. And so, that you need all five guys. You need Malik Monk, who's been a lot better on the defensive end. Keegan Murray, HB, both of those guys have struggled on the perimeter, but you see how, even last night, Keegan got beat. Still doesn't give up on the play. He gets a crazy block. I can't remember who it was, but somebody was going to throw down a dunk driving the lane, and Keegan blocked it before he can even go up with it. It's things like that, small things like that just really are contagious. Again, it's about building momentum on defense. We talk a lot about momentum offensively. It's easy to signify, okay, they've hit 3 threes in a row. The offense is rolling. But what you never mention is, they got 3 stops in a row, and one of them was a 24 seconds. One was a turnover. One was we were great in rotation and had a contested shot. It's things like that really start to build up. And, once you get 1 or 2 of those, that's when everybody starts believing. And that's when Mike Brown talked about in postgame, these guys in the locker room are talking about their defense. You start to get guys excited about winning on the defensive end. That's almost like unlocking a completely new game. It's, you thought you could only win on offense, and defense isn't fun. It's not sexy. It's never going to, lead the headlines. But if your team can take beauty or find beauty in the ugliness of mucking up a game and winning on the defensive end, I think that's great for a team that also at the same time knows that they have the capability of blowing everybody out the water if they need to.
The Kings in the month of March, 4th in NBA in defensive rating, 4th in opponent field goal percentage.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. It's just incredible. 2nd in opponent second chance points, 1st in opponent fast break points. They're just a completely different team.
Completely. Yeah. I mean, and I think it's here to stay. Again, like we've seen a large enough sample size. It's been about 2 weeks where the Kings have completely locked down on the defensive end. I think it's real, man. I really do. And I'm willing to, have some egg on my face if it's not, but I just think everything we've seen from the individual standpoint, again, you see De'Aaron, you see Keon, you see even Sabonis having really good defensive deflection numbers. And just with the results coming along with it, I think that this team has found something else inside of them that I think is only going to do them favors here. And that's finding success on the defensive end and really finding joy in it. And it hasn't been, the best part is it hasn't been against inferior opponents necessarily. Right. They have had a couple easy games in there. They had that Grizzlies game. They had that Spurs game, but you see games against the Bucks, against the Lakers, even 112 allowed against the Rockets is a really good performance. Sixers, even though they're down bad, keeping them down bad is still something that you should definitely take pride in. The fact that teams aren't shooting over their averages against the Kings anymore. All of those are real signs that I think this defense is legit and it's here to stay, at least for the regular season.
Yeah, and from the 916, it's Keon by addition and a subtraction of Herter. So they're basically saying a lot of it is, I mean, if they were 17, 18 with Herter starting, that makes sense to me. I mean, getting to 14 now that Herter's out and Keon getting as much time as he's getting, I think that's part of it for sure. But it also takes the whole team to buy in. But it starts with Keon, and Keon is the reason a lot of them have bought in. When we return, you've heard us do blame pie, but now it's time to do success cake. And you know who's getting a big slice? That's Coach Mike Brown. Where's the hate now? Where is the Brown out of town now? This guy is getting hot as a coach, and we discuss the moves that he's made and what's next right when we get back. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The battle for a top 6 seed in the Western Conference continues tonight as Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and the Dallas Mavericks visit Golden One Center to face the Kings.
Rebounded by Sacramento. Fox on the move. 3 defenders in front of him. Doesn't make a lick of difference. De'Aaron Fox twists his way to the low right side and scores on the reverse.
It's a huge clash tonight at 7 on your proud home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
At LL Flooring, we've been a trusted partner to pros for over 30 years. With over 400 nationwide warehouses full of in-stock, job-ready inventory, you'll get what you need. And our exclusive pro pricing means that pros never pay retail. Because at LL Flooring, all we do is floors. So we're going to do it right. Sign up for a free pro account today to start getting pro benefits.
Hey, what's up, Sacramento? It's Kyle Draper. Turn up the cleanliness at your restaurant, healthcare, or industrial business with Alsco Uniforms, the official sponsor of the Sacramento Kings Mop Crew. We've got you covered with crisp uniforms, hygienically clean linens, floor mats, and, of course, mops delivered weekly. But that's not all. Alsco Uniforms also offers weekly services for first aid and restroom supplies. Discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco Uniforms. Just go to alsco.com to learn more. Again, that's alsco.com.
I just can't control my feet.
Coming to the venue at Thunder Valley, March 30th, World One presents The Jacksons with Sister Sledge. Tickets available now at the Thunder Valley box office, Ticketmaster.com, and World1Presents.com.
Maida Chevy saves you $8,000 off MSRP on every new Silverado LT and RST half-ton diesel in stock after rebates. A Maida Chevy exclusive. See all the truck season savings at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. Ends 4/30/24.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home, and the men who use PTO to catch afternoon basketball in March with the boys. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
I'm going out with the girls this weekend. Nails done, outfit stunner, and my skin, I know it's going to be glowing because I glammed up my shower routine with new Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. It smells so luxurious and moisturizes deep into my skin with its super rich, creamy lather that's bursting with vitamin B3. So my skin glows and my confidence grows. Try new Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash for glowing skin in just 14 days.
Ball forward, take your base.
The only thing worse than a pitcher running out of gas on the mound is your old phone running out of storage for your photos in the stands.
Goodbye, home run.
Switch to Verizon and get a great deal on a new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage for all the ballpark pics you want. Just trade in your iPhone, any model, in any condition, so you'll feel like you're winning, even when your team's not. Trade in any iPhone in any condition for a great deal on iPhone 15 Pro with Unlimited Ultimate and get iPad and Apple Watch SE with eligible service plan. Only on Verizon.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at American Energy. Now, I've told you this before, but this is what we call extending a good deal. Right now, American Energy Heat and Air is offering an HVAC diagnostic for $99. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Never mind. They're offering it free. It's a $99 value, but you get it for $0. Let the American Energy team test your system connections and all the moving parts of that system to ensure that it's functioning properly. Now, this is a limited time offer, expires March 31st. Call today to schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. Speak to the company that has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau that's been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Gibby to Weber down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis. A two-hand rip. A brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports. Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
And you can tell that there's been a change behind the glass as you tap to your right hand. I think Simone's right-handed. Tap to your right hand, go to the bullpen. Simone will be board hopping, producing the rest of our show. Got you till 2 p.m. as we talk all things Kings, getting ready to close the chapter on the 76ers and send them back to Philly so Drapes can say what's up and have a cheesesteak out there. By the way, Chris told me he got a cheesesteak. I asked not too long ago where the best cheesesteak was, and Chris told me Limelight, and he went and got it last week and didn't invite me.
I did not.
It's all good.
No, I had to make sure it was good first.
That's right.
I couldn't just say
little quality assurance. Yeah, that's all that is.
That's right. So
exactly.
Hey, Sixers, hopefully you stay out of the play-in and you get Joel Embiid back. Thank you for the W last night. Mavs, you're up next. But before we preview the Mavs and get into all things Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, that's about at 12:15. It is time for some success cake as opposed to blame pie. And I want to know, 916-339-1140, where is the Mike Brown hate now for the reigning coach of the year? Oh, why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? Rotations. Why isn't he playing this guy? Why isn't he playing that guy? He calls Sasha. We'll have an update on Sasha before the show ends as well. He calls on Keon Ellis. And look, players have to make the plays, okay? But you can't say players make plays when they make plays, and then when they don't make plays, it's Mike Brown.
It's all the coach.
That's not how this thing works, okay? The Keon move, and we smelled something coming before the Kevin Huerter injury. Keon starts to show up, okay? When Kevin Huerter got banged up before, and Keegan. Keon shows up. Davion Mitchell, okay? And maybe it's not necessarily about the rotations and what he's doing. Maybe it's about the fact that he's instilled enough confidence in these guys to stay ready at all times. Davion, I know it feels like you got leapfrogged. I know it feels like nobody's talking about you anymore, but we still got you. And we got a song. Up night. And we got a song for you ready.
Crazy.
When you start hitting some shots. So what does Davion Mitchell do? 25 minutes, 3 for 4 from 3-point, 6 for 9 from the field, 18 points.
Come on, rack it.
Mike Brown has these boys ready. Now, that could all change tonight, but it feels like this last stretch of games, what are they, 7-3?
7-3.
They are rocking and rolling. They're still going to be the Kings and lose to teams that they shouldn't lose to. But the good thing is they don't have any more gimmies, okay? So in theory, they should at least show up the way we've seen them show up against teams that are playoff caliber.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll add to that and say, Mike Brown, to your point, and I think you talked about it earlier, but he understands exactly what he's been doing all season long with his rotations. And I won't say all season long and knows exactly what he was doing, but he had a plan of what he was going to do, I think, all season long. I think he's talked about in the past, he more so last season, about how he learned from Steve Kerr. Sometimes you do have to keep watering the pots on the bench. It might be easy to let Kessler Edwards ride the pine all year, but if you give him a couple minutes here and there, like you're saying, it keeps you engaged. Like, it prevents you from feeling like you're explaining with Davion. Like, Davion could have easily felt like, I got skipped. I got passed over. No one's ever going to think about me. Mike Brown continued to give him time, continued to give him minutes. And I know in the middle of the season, he was a bit sporadic with those, but now that the playoffs are headed right around the corner, I think it's serious time. And you're seeing the rotations become a lot more solidified. I think Mike Brown's done a great job all year long. I think the players have kind of let him down a bit with their performances, but yeah, absolutely. I think Mike Brown has shown here, especially with just this stretch of games, he's got the finger on the pulse of this team perfectly. And I mean, they're playing perfect defense at the exact right time. So I got to give a lot of credit to Mike Brown, but of course to the players as well. They've definitely stepped their game up here recently, but I think there's no way. The fact that Mike Brown hasn't lost this locker room also, I think, is really big, because I just can't see a lot of coaches, especially coaches that have came through here recently, that would have such an up and down season but not lose the locker room. You're seeing them play their best basketball at the end of the year after they've been through everything that they've been through, all the ups and downs. That's where I think Mike Brown saying earlier this year, this team is the most connected group I've ever been a part of. I think this moment right now is that exactly showing that these guys did not give up. They believed in themselves all year, and they knew that they were capable of doing something like what they're doing right now. They just never were executing it.
It took a while to get there, and they're not there yet, but they're in a good position to continue and push this momentum exactly where they want it to go. And you want to be playing your best ball at this time. If the Kings had started out hot and now they're starting to cool off, you'd say, well,
Clippers.
they're going in the Clippers, they're going in the wrong direction. It feels like they are starting to head in the right direction. Yeah. And let's get to Steven, 916-339-1140, if you want to be a part of the conversation. Let's get to Steven, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What you got for us, Steven?
Good morning. Or afternoon, Ray. I don't know what it is.
Technically afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, it is afternoon. All right. So because Nate is not here today, right, I'm going to do this. Since we're on the Mike Brown thing, do you think after all of this, do you think he still wants to trade Mike Brown for Steve Kerr straight up?
Oh my goodness. Wow. I don't think so. I highly doubt it, Nate. I hope you're listening, because that one
receipts,
Nate
man.
said that?
It was a dark time.
Oh. Like a week ago?
It
was a while ago. It was definitely a while ago, but I can't. Yeah.
And I saw something yesterday, Chris, about the winning seasons for the Kings.
Yes.
And consecutive winning seasons, and Mike Brown doing something
only Rick Adelman has done.
Right.
Yeah.
One other coach in Kings history.
Yes.
But Mike Brown out of town, though.
Mike Brown out of town. No, exactly.
Mike Brown out of town.
The only coach who has brought multiple years of success to this team. But let's anybody could do what he's doing right now. Come on.
Right.
Come on.
Of course.
This is ridiculous.
This is from the 916. Love Brown, but do you think he would have pulled Herter for Keon? We'll never know.
Well, that's exactly. I guess we'll never know.
I guess we'll never know.
A lot of people wanted to know. I guess we'll never know.
And there's no reason to speculate about it.
There's no need. There is no need to put any sort of definite on either, because you could realistically argue, much like the who's the best player on the team, you could definitely argue either side of this, and I think either side would be right. You could say, clearly he was stubborn all season long. He had no intentions of ever pulling Herter, but like you said, I think even setting up this segment, you could already start to kind of see the writing on the wall a bit. There were rumblings that, maybe you might want to think about making this move. So I think you could reasonably argue either side, and I think it's probably best that we don't have a definitive answer.
If I was going to answer, all I would say is that if it got bad enough with Herter, I think he would have.
Yes.
I don't know when, but if he continued to barely get to 20 minutes and Keon continued to play the way he was playing, I think so.
It would have been tough.
I think so. It would have been a better question of Herter playing okay and Herter being at 25 minutes, 6 points, and just doing enough. Then I think maybe they don't make the new move. But from what we had seen, for the most part, I do think the move would have been made. But we'll never know.
We'll never know.
We will never know. But what we do know is that the Kings are rocking and rolling right now, and it's all starting on the defensive end. So if we're doing a success cake, Chris.
Credit cake.
A credit cake. That's what it was. That's what it was. If we're doing a credit cake, I mean, Keon, for this 10-game stretch.
Yeah.
Keon,
65. I was going to say 65, man.
Right?
Like, I think it's pretty high. And even if that's not like exactly accurate in terms of like how much he's individually doing, again, it feels like almost just the shift of like the mindset of, hey, this guy is going to be playing a lot more. Davion's going to be playing a lot more. Even Duarte is going to be playing a lot more. It's the fact that all of those guys have some sort of defensive identity that's pretty core to who they are. I think that's played a major, major factor. I wouldn't put it as bluntly as what the texter did by saying straight up, this is what happens when you play Keon and don't play Kevin. But it is a result of
For this
Kevin not
stretch.
being able to play, and these guys who have just a little bit more of defensive-minded abilities are definitely getting a lot more time. So I would say 65% Keon representing what the Kings have changed about their defense.
Okay. And if Keon's at 65.
And his individual ridiculousness, too.
If Keon's at 65, where else are we going to go with Mike Brown?
Yeah.
Sabonis, you got to slot in at 15, 20
Sure.
at all times.
Well, yeah. And then we're getting towards running out of what that puts us at about 80%. I want to give at least 5-10% to Mike Brown because of, again, going back to the drawing board and saying, I don't know if people fully appreciate how hard it must be to, again, tell professionals, guys who make millions of dollars, no, we're going to do like basic training here. I think that takes a lot of courage and a lot of humbling, really. And it might have been forced upon him by his team's performances, but I do think it's kind of crazy for a professional coach to get to the point where he says, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to do it. We're going to go incredibly basic. I don't care if it drives these guys crazy.
Do we know when this happened? Just throughout the course of the season?
Off of how we've heard it, it sounds like maybe a month ago, maybe like a month and a half ago. So I think it was very recently. Like, I think it was post All-Star break that this, the players only meeting happened. Is that right after the All-Star game, if I'm remembering correctly?
Yeah.
I would imagine some time after that because, we had started to hear rumblings about, there's stuff going on behind the scenes just in terms of, defense and offense and how much they're focusing on what. I think for the most part, a lot of this work has been done in the past month and a half or so.
It reminds me of, was this D2 or D3 Mighty Ducks? Where are my 90s babies at? Was it D3 Mighty Ducks when they got to beat varsity and as freshmen they beat varsity in a completely
Where did
realistic...
Verlaud go?
Verlaud, this is where we need you.
12
Shout out to Chris
early.
Verlaud, who did a great job the first 2 hours. D2 or D3 Mighty Ducks, when did they have to go back to basics?
I'll text him.
Coach Carter or Remember the Titans, all these movies.
Yeah.
That's what happened with the Kings. And now they are seeing the benefits and the success from that. But hopefully it continues tonight against a Mavs team that has just as much to gain and maybe more to lose because the Mavs are already down 0-2 in the season series. We preview the Mavericks.
Let's do it.
When we return. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we've represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
500 Capitol Mall, Suite 2120, Sacramento, California, 95814. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Heard the catchphrase that's sweeping the nation?
Jackson, Hugh, yeah.
People are saying Jackson Hugh yeah to Jackson Hewitt because they love saving money on tax prep. Do you love saving money? Then switch to Jackson Hewitt today and pay less than last year. Thousands of people have already made the switch. Why haven't you? Stop waiting and start filing. You won't get a better deal or a better catchphrase. All together now.
Jackson Hugh, yeah!
Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Join Chris Watkins and the Sactown Sports Street Team this Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. at Fieldhouse American Sports Pub for some basketball madness and their mouth-watering full menu. 1310 Fulton Avenue. See you there.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Little country Beyonce to get you ready for Dallas.
This ain't Texas.
This ain't Texas,
Ain't no
Dallas, and you gonna be out here for a second.
Yep.
You
That
got to
California
think.
sunshine.
So if you were an NBA player
Yeah.
and you're in the situation, because you know me, big foodie, out here in these streets.
Yeah.
But do you think, okay, if I'm now like a 6'7" very obvious looking NBA player.
Right.
Do you think they just DoorDash a lot, or are they out in the streets? Are we going to see some Mavericks in the wild these next 2 days?
That's a great question. You'll probably see a stray Maverick at Chipotle outside of Doko.
That's what I'm thinking.
Like,
where do they stay? Where's the hotel?
They stay at the Sawyer. Right across the street. So, I mean, they're going to be in Doko.
Mm-hmm.
I would not hang around there all day, please. But they'll probably, you'll probably see them, going to Chipotle, maybe grabbing Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll go to Echo and Rig that's connected so they don't have to, I'm just thinking like the more outside you are, obviously, the more visible you'll be. So I feel like probably staying within that centralized location.
You have everything you need. You have everything you need.
That's so true. Everything you need at Doko.
You really will.
I'm sure they'll grab a nice dinner somewhere downtown.
They have to.
Yeah.
They have to. And they're just far enough to leave. Because I'm thinking if this is the same situation with the Lakers.
Oh, right. Yeah, they're heading home.
They go home and come back, I think.
I would think, let's see, game on Tuesday. You can get back Wednesday morning, like 2 a.m.
Right.
I would think so. And then practice Wednesday and Thursday, maybe fly in Thursday night.
Right.
Yeah, I would think so, maybe.
Yeah.
But it is like just enough time to where it's like you kind of have to make that decision, and then ultimately it's probably just worth it to stay.
Well, hopefully they leave. Well, they got to stay, but hopefully they leave on Friday night with two
L's.
Fresh, hot L's.
Yeah, they might have to check those.
You can check them out. I hope you're in Southwest.
Hopefully some big L's.
You can check them for free because they're going to be over 50 pounds.
Good point.
As we preview the Mavericks enter on a 4-game winning streak. Dallas has won 8 of its last 9 games. Kings need 1 win to clinch the season series as they are currently up 2-0. And Chris has some more on the Mavericks, the last 10 games and last 3 games.
Yeah, just kind of looking at their trends here the last couple games. We'll start off with their last 10 games. They are 8th in offensive rating, 7th in defensive rating, and 8th in net rating. During that time, they're 5th in the NBA in points per game, 7th in the NBA in field goal percentage, 26th in 3-point percentage. And then on the defensive side, 14th in opponents' points per game, 13th in opponents' 3-point percentage, and 5th in opponents' field goal percentage. This is where things get a bit scary, though, when I look at just, because it is interesting. Think about how long ago was 10 games ago for the Kings. So when we look at these sample sizes, it just tells you different things. 10 games ago for the Kings was the San Antonio Spurs game. That feels like so long ago. That was before the Kings. That was right before the Kings really started clamping down on defense. They were a completely different team. Now, if you look at the last 3 games, that's the Washington, Orlando, Philly. That's just you have a better idea of how they're playing right here, now. When you're looking at Dallas's last 3 games, so how are they currently playing? They are number 18 in offensive rating, which is probably a good thing, especially when, again, considering their past 10 games, they've been 8th. So they have slipped on the offensive end. This is where things get scary, man. They have locked down on defense here. I mentioned earlier the Kings might be the best or second best defense playing right now. It's because Dallas is actually locking it down on the defensive end, which no one would expect. Dallas has the number 1 defensive rating at 103 flat, which is 103 points per 100 possessions. They are number 2 in the last 3 games in opponent 3-point percentage, holding their last 3 opponents to 28.7% from 3. And from the field, opponents are shooting 44% from the field, which is 5th lowest in the entire NBA. They're also 9th in net rating, so they're playing really good basketball, even though they're not knocking down their shots. That was the most surprising thing to me, though, was just the fact that the Dallas defense has actually been the thing that's been carrying them these last couple games. And of course, 2 of those are against San Antonio. So maybe, hold that with a grain of salt. But I'm sorry, that's Phoenix. I'm thinking of Phoenix's schedule. They played Utah last night and held them to 105. I think that's really the most interesting development from the Mavericks side of things, is in the same way we just have gone on the past hour and a half about how the Kings defense has done all of these wonders. We know that the Kings offense is going to be there. It's important that their defense is there. Dallas is playing the same exact way. Their offense is incredible. Luka's going to be able to get a 30-point triple-double every single night. Kyrie's going to be able to give you at least 20 every single night. But it's the fact that they're actually playing defense here that makes them so scary. They've got those two bigs in Daniel Gafford and I wanted to call him Blake Lively, but it's not. It's Derek Lively. Derek Lively, who have just been incredible around the rim. So that's definitely going to be an interesting matchup, especially for Sabonis, who we've seen here against some bigger, taller guys. Sometimes Sabonis can struggle with. It'll be interesting to see how he's able to throw his weight around.
So Gafford, they get him in a trade, and it feels like he's transformed them a little bit. They also pick up PJ Washington, who our own Brendan Nunes had played around with, maybe the Kings picking up for that boomer bust because he's got a lot of potential. So 2 pickups that has somewhat transformed their team a bit. And not only is it about who they gained, it's about who they lost. Seth Curry and Grant Williams head to Charlotte. And Grant Williams, apparently there was a lot of drama. Yeah. And nobody liked Grant Williams on the Mavs, and they basically had to get him out of there. I saw a story that he was talking a bunch of trash to Luka in a practice, and Luka gave him 27 points in a row or something crazy like that. And it's funny because somebody on the text line, the 916, is saying, don't forget to give Mason Jones his flowers for sparking the bench. That's from our guy Mid Rock. And it's funny because in a way, and I know Nate's already been mentioned today, but in a way, I feel like that's what Nate was trying to say. Like, don't be the annoying guy as far as Mason Jones and the bench mob, but I don't think that's what Mason Jones is giving off. It's clearly what Grant Williams was giving off. And Grant Williams is right in that frame of the dude. It sounds like he was the guy saying, oh, come on, man. Let's be better. Let's do this. Let's do that.
You say you want to be great. You want to win championships.
And you just got here, brother. And just the way it's coming off, I'm not feeling it. And they got him out of there. Yeah. They were not messing with Grant Williams at all. No. And
I mean, you don't mess with their savior. That's why.
You don't do that. Yeah. And they got him out of there. They're trying to get their vibes right. They have a very easy schedule to close out the season. And it feels like the Mavericks are trending in the right direction. Yeah. And this is going to be a battle of ultimately who's hotter.
Yeah, no, and I'm looking at their numbers, the individual numbers the last 3 games. You mentioned Daniel Gafford, 16 points, 8.5 rebounds, with 2 blocks and a steal and a half per game. And he's just incredible around the rim. Like he had that record going for a while of most consecutive made field goal attempts. I think he made 25 in a row. I'm looking at it here. He's shooting 84% from the field his last 3 games, 7 makes on 8.3 attempts. Can't really do much better than that. That's all pick and roll too. And then that's what's going to be kind of scary about these 2 matchups defensively for the Kings is getting Sabonis out in space like that defensively, especially against a guy like Daniel Gafford or a guy like Derek Lively, who does have that quicker first step to get around Sabonis potentially. That's not great. That's kind of where Sabonis gets caught in a no man's land where his foot speed isn't really fast enough to backtrack and keep up with those guys. So I'd imagine a lot of high pick and rolls with Kyrie and Luka and just getting Sabonis in as many actions as possible. We'll see if the Kings continue to do their switching thing. We saw them yesterday go to a zone for a long portion of the game. I wonder how much that affects Dallas. It'd be interesting to look at Dallas's points in the paint production because looking at their 3-pointers, they do not have any 3-point shooters. Luka, his last 3 games, 2 makes on 11 attempts, 24%. Kyrie, 2 makes on 7 attempts, 27%. PJ Washington, 1.3 makes on 5 attempts, 26%. They do not have good shooters.
Can we not do that?
What's that?
I don't like this.
The fact that they're not playing well leading into the game.
I don't like how
makes you feel like they're due a bit.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. What was Kyrie?
Kyrie, 2 of 7, 27% from 3 his last 3 games.
And what was Luka?
2 of 11, 24% his last 3 games.
I don't like that.
That's I mean, in a weird way. Again, that's why it's so key. The Kings playing good defense. Keep 24 might be a bit extreme, but don't let Luka go 6 of 12 from 3. Don't let Kyrie Get open from three. Don't let those guys get comfortable. Don't let them be, even looking at the last 7 games, those numbers are still down. Looking at their last 10 games.
What about Tim Hardaway Jr.? What's he been up to?
Tim Hardaway, looking at his last 10 games, he's at 8.5 points per game on just under 20 minutes, shooting 35% from the field, 34% from three. He really hasn't been good at all, and he was huge for them in their first half of the season. But even so, looking at that, their last 10 games, I think you said it earlier, they're 8-2. So even with all of these terrible shooting performances, it's again a sign that Dallas has really acknowledged what the Kings have. Your shots aren't always going to fall, and you're going to have to play defense at some point if you want to get these games. I would say that if Dallas is going to shoot a low percentage, I'm feeling really good about the Kings' chances. I just think Dallas is so heavily reliant on Luka and Kyrie being great that it's almost like those guys need to combine for 60 points for them to realistically have a chance if the Kings are going to hold the rest of their guys to their averages. And, I just feel like the Kings' offensive firepower is ridiculous. And on the other side too, I don't know how Dallas is going to slow down Sabonis. I don't know if Gafford and Lively's size or their height is going to be enough to throw off Sabonis. We've seen him really bully guys like Chet Holmgren, bully guys like Anthony Davis even. And I don't know if either of those two guys present the physical nature that a guy like AD does. So I kind of think Sabonis might go crazy these 2 games.
Their long wing, Derrick Jones Jr. is another guy who is somebody that the Kings don't have a guy like that.
Right.
So that'll be fascinating to watch how the Kings react to that. Quickly, last night, Luka, 29 points, Kyrie, 27 points, Tim Hardaway Jr., 13, Daniel Gafford, 13. So they're finding ways to score even when they're not scoring the 3 ball. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The battle for a top 6 seed in the Western Conference continues tonight as Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and the Dallas Mavericks visit Golden One Center to face the Kings.
Rebounded by Sacramento. Fox on the move. 3 defenders in front of him. Doesn't make a lick of difference. De'Aaron Fox twists his way to the low right side and scores on the reverse.
It's a huge clash tonight at 7 on your proud home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com.
Brought to you by Fitty and Fiber, Dawson Oil Company, and Good Guys Heating and Cooling.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy happiness. But money did buy your boat, where you find peace fishing, unlike at home with 3 teenage daughters. Because fish never argue about who stole whose crop top, or get mad the other fish used up all the hot water. No, they just swim around, never embarrassed to be seen with you in public. So save money by bundling your boat or RV insurance with home or auto from Progressive. And buy more happiness, or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers, not available in all states.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in 1 wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints of the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Couple quick stories. Getting back into Kings and Mavs. Shohei denies any involvement with sports betting. We will talk about that later in the show. Also, new kickoff rule in the NFL where they have basically copied the XFL and basically the defense just for the special teams that is kicking off the ball is starting way closer to the opposing team to
I guess you don't want people going full speed running
so
at
trying to negate the concussions which come the most in those plays. So go check it out. Adam Schefter, a bunch of people tweeted it and posted it. And yeah, there's really not enough time for anybody to really crack someone. I think it'll lead to probably less returns for touchdowns, but I mean, it's also going to hopefully get rid of all of those touchbacks as well. I know Shannon Sharp, and we were talking about Mighty Ducks. There's also the one with Mark Wahlberg where, who's it, Vince Papale, where he's on the Eagles and he's on the Eagles and he gets his start with special teams. So a lot of players
invincible
when they find their way on teams, it is first and foremost on special teams. Might not be the case moving forward. So go check out that video. Another video making the rounds. I believe people are saying this was at a Laker game or an LA game. Deebo Samuel.
Oh, I saw this.
Is walking and he's pretending like he's on the phone. He's not on the phone.
He's not
and
on the phone
these kids, they're about 4 kids around him, and they're just badgering him for an autograph.
Yeah.
Deebo, please. Meanwhile, somebody is an adult-sounding dude who has the phone, who's videoing the whole thing, is just asking him, is Brock Purdy the best quarterback? And Deebo, it clearly wasn't a situation. And one thing that I noticed, or that somebody brought to our attention, is that, people get doxxed all the time these days, and people find out where you are, and the whole thing gets blown up. These kids, all they had was, I guess, literally autograph binders, right?
Yeah.
They had no Niners apparel.
Nope.
They had nothing like that. So people are trying to figure out whether it's fair foul, a good look or a bad look for Debo. A lot of people are saying, bleep them kids. Debo doesn't have to do anything. Go check out that video. And yeah, it's pretty funny to me. I don't know, man. The whole, do you owe these kids anything?
Yeah.
Debo, it's not a Niner games. Like I said, these kids have no Niners
They have
apparel.
nothing on them.
And they're
Looking at
not
it right
even
now.
saying anything about Debo. All they're saying is, Debo, please sign. Debo,
And I'm
please
even
sign.
looking at
over
what
and
they're
over again.
asking him to sign. I don't even know what it is. It kind of just looks like it's a blank piece of paper. Like it's a
They're
folder
like,
of some sort.
They found out where he was, and they were just trying to get the autograph. It wasn't as if these were Niner fans, and I know the kids
and they're
are
not
kids.
signing jerseys. They're
No,
not
it's
signing like
weird.
his card or anything like
it's
that.
bizarre. It's bizarre. So, what side do you fall on? We will.
Yeah, it's
we will take your thoughts on that as we continue to talk about the Kings and the Mavs. You have some things on Daniel Gafford versus Sabonis in the past.
Yes, and this is I was just talking about this matchup, and will it be tough for Sabonis? So why not just look into it? And the answers looks like Domantas Sabonis has absolutely zero problem with Daniel Gafford. Let's start on Gafford's side of the thing. Daniel Gafford in 10 career games against Domantas Sabonis, which has ranged from 2020 all the way through this season of 2023 when he was still a member of the Wizards. Gafford has averaged 9.3 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 1.9 blocks in those games against Sabonis. I would say the best game against Sabonis of his career happened in 2021, 15-13 with 5 blocks. He was 6 of 8 from the field. That's a good day for Daniel Gafford. Looking on the other side of the fence here, Domantas Sabonis' career against Daniel Gafford, 10 games, 27.9 points, 12.1 rebounds, 8.7 assists in 10 career games against Daniel Gafford. I don't even know if I can pick one. Just give me a random number from 1 to 10.
7.
I will pick the 7th game that they played against each other. Let's see here. This will be a 30-point, 10 rebound, 6 assist, 3 steal game from Domantas Sabonis, where he went 11 of 15. That was when he was a member of the Pacers, and Gafford was a member of the Wizards. Since he's joined Sacramento, I'll just read these 3 games out. Since joining Sacramento, 3 games against Gafford. He had a 20, 15, and 10. He had a 39 and 10. And last time he played and when he played him earlier in December this season, he had a 28, 13, and 12.
Wow.
So
it's barbecue chicken.
Yeah, it's barbecue chicken. I mean, Sabonis, we've talked about before, it's kind of tough for Sabonis to get 20 points in a game. So the fact that Sabonis has averaged 27.9 points against Daniel Gafford tells you not only does Sabonis like that matchup, he's hunting that matchup and feels like there's nothing Gafford can do against him. He's just going to be the bigger guy. And it's not like Gafford hasn't really played a lot of minutes. There's a lot of 20-plus minute performances out of Gafford in those 10 Sabonis games. So it is going to be a barbecue chicken night tonight at Golden One Center by the looks of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, those numbers are
crazy.
insane.
That's like Jokic numbers, really. That's like Jokic season average.
Well, I cannot wait to discuss that during
crazy.
Prop Talk.
That's right.
I was going to say, I want to adopt.
Take notes.
I want to adopt.
Simone called dibs on Sabonis tonight as he takes on Daniel Gafford, and the Kings take on the Mavericks in a 2-game series for the Kings to hopefully clinch at the very least. So we'll be very clear about this. It's not that they have to win both, but it would be nice. And we'll explain why during Pocket Watch when we return. And yeah, the Suns, we'll make fun of them. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now. Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Brakes? We can save you 15% on that. We have OE quality Duralast brake pads and rotors in stock, ready for pickup or delivery. We also have calipers, brake fluid, tools, and anything else you'll need to do the job right. When you get Duralast pads and rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Progressive presents 10 things on a plumber's to-do list that are harder than getting a small business insurance quote. Waking up for 5 a.m. plumbing disasters, finding out why water is pouring from the ceiling while telling a customer to leave the room, replacing a pipe in a home from the 1800s, then dealing with invoices or your awkward apprentice or that really weird smell, and then there's breathing and eating and, of course, clogs. But the easiest thing on any small business owner's to-do list, seeing if you could save on the business insurance that's right for you. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home, and the men who use PTO to catch afternoon basketball in March with the boys. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Hey guys, do you know your T level? Revive Men's Health here in Sacramento is helping you take that first step toward better health and enhanced intimacy with a free testosterone level test, exam, and consultation. Plus, for this month only, qualified patients can kickstart their treatment with a free supply of ED medication. Revive's customized ED treatments can provide immediate results, restore blood flow naturally, and even bring spontaneity back into your love life. With both in-person and telemedicine appointments available, plus free shipping directly to you, Revive takes the hassle out of treating low T and ED. Having an optimal testosterone level can change your whole life, and it starts with knowing your T level. Take that first step and book your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation, and kickstart your treatment with a free supply of ED medication this month only. Call Revive Men's Health Sacramento at 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Drapes, Kyle Draper here from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. You know, there's nothing like getting a massage on my way to work. I know it sounds crazy, but my new ride has seats that massage my back. Leave it to Mercedes-Benz. I've had my new EQS SUV for a few months now, and it's the most gorgeous and sophisticated vehicle I've ever had. I've owned electric cars before, but Mercedes-Benz has set a new standard on how awesome an electric car can be. I never stress about battery charging, and it's got remarkably long range, and it is easy to charge. Now, if you can plug in your hairdryer in the morning, you can plug in this car. It's very simple, and the timing is perfect. It's Mercedes Madness Month at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Enjoy up to $19,000 in Mercedes-Benz incentives on select new vehicles, plus a complimentary home charger and 2 years of prepaid maintenance. And they've got certified pre-owned Mercedes vehicles as low as 1.99% APR for qualified buyers. It's Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. It's just a short 30-minute drive from Sacramento, right off I-5, or online at mbfstockton.com.
Right now, the sewer system is probably the last thing on your mind. And that's okay, because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. If you have a sewer problem like a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night.
Live and local.
Live and local. This is Sactown Sports.
It is time to pocket watch, and the most important pocket watching of the night is right in front of us. Kings Mavs. Okay? And the reason it is so important, obviously if the Kings win, they get the tiebreaker. And Chris found it for us that if the Kings lose both of these games and split, then it would go to the division record.
I believe it's conference, but let me look that up for sure. NBA playoff tiebreakers.
So, and that would be pretty even, Steven, as well.
So it says better record in head-to-head games, which is obviously that's the situation that we're wondering about. Then it goes to division winner, which I don't know actually, because nobody knows what divisions even are in today's NBA.
Division
anymore.
winner, as in if someone wins a division and someone doesn't.
I believe so, is what that is saying. And Dallas, thankfully, is in the same division as the New Orleans Pelicans, so they more than likely aren't going to win their division. It then goes to higher winning percentage within division. So it actually isn't conference is the next one up. So it ends up going to your divisional record, which, let's see here, the Kings in their division 9-6, Dallas 9-5.
So you said first back-to-back, and then second was
division winner.
Division winner meaning did one of you win your division, or who had a better record?
Yes, winning your division.
So if neither of them won their division,
then it goes to higher winning percentage within your division. And then if those are tied, then it goes to conference record, which again, even those is really close.
So just win tonight.
Win tonight, and none of those things are in question. It's not like it's a guarantee that Dallas will 1,000% be put behind you, but it definitely does help, especially when you look at something like that with the tiebreaker. The Kings, at the very least, would hold pretty much, by all intents and purposes, you could think of it as a half game over Dallas, just because they have that advantage.
Right, and right now the Kings, that advantage is already built in.
Yes, it's already there
what
right
we're
now.
looking at, because that's why they both have
2-0
the same
right now.
record, but the Kings are in and the Mavs are not. So the Mavs probably feel like they really, really need to win. I would say both.
Yeah, they want both. They want both.
They need both. The Kings need what you've been saying is the reason that you've been so hard pressed for the Kings to win both is simply because of how the games after these games. And because the Kings still have to go to Boston, who might already have it wrapped up.
They might, yes. They
might already have it wrapped up, but they got to go to Boston. They got to go to New York.
OKC.
They got to play OKC.
Clippers, Pelicans,
Suns. They have all of those teams, and the Mavericks don't have any. So really, you just want as big of a cushion as you can have. But so those understand. They win tonight, the Kings do, and they get the tiebreaker. It's just more about doubling up against the head-to-head with the Mavericks, because their schedule is so soft for the rest of the season.
And what are, maybe this just sparks something, if the Kings beat the Mavericks tonight, what are the odds that Dallas treats that Friday game with any sort of gotta have it, because if they lose tonight, then on Friday, there's no fighting for the season series. I guess at that point, they're fighting for standings, which I guess is still very important. You're fighting to then bring it back even with Sacramento. And then, again, Dallas is definitely in the better positioning down the stretch. But maybe you can take a little bit of the sting out of Friday, because if you lose tonight to Dallas, that means both of those teams need Friday equally. And, not that the Kings necessarily need more of hyping themselves up, but that's obviously just a little bit scarier of a proposition walking into that game, feeling like, no, we truly do have to have this, and Dallas having that same exact mentality with some days leading into it too.
Well, and obviously the Kings and the Mavericks coming off a back-to-back, the Mavericks had to travel, and we've joked about the Mavericks having to hang out in Sacramento, a place they're not used to. They're not going to be at home, but they still will be well rested. They're still going to have some nice beds to sleep on. And if you don't get this game tonight, where both of you are a little bit tired, but you would imagine the Mavs are more tired, you don't get this game tonight, then the Mavs will be well rested and have momentum heading into Friday in essentially a winner take all, not for the series, but the ability to control the series if you are the Kings. So I think tonight is huge.
Yeah, it's absolutely huge. You got to treat this. I mean,
just get it out the way.
It's so obvious, but you got to treat this like a playoff series. Like, I know you guys played yesterday, but this is what you need to view this as is, especially if you're if you're the Kings, this is literally first round of the playoffs. You need to take advantage you need to take advantage of your home court. Okay. It's a 7-game series, and we know how important winning those first 2 games of the series are. You get to then you pretty much took care of your side of things. You then head to the road for the next 2. This is a nice little ramp up for what actual playoffs is going to be like, with actually some pretty similar days in between as well. This is a perfect precursor to the playoffs. You really can't have a better preparation for the playoffs than this little mini series against a team that's right next to you in the standings. I think the Kings are going to be ready for it, man. Again, I think that after you see how this team performed last year in the playoffs, I think that same level of intensity is going to be brought tonight on national TV. And let's not forget, Dallas was not in the playoffs last year. They don't know what it's like with this group to truly have your feet held to the fire.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how they respond to this, because really, in a weird way, crazy to say, Kings have the experience advantage here over Dallas when it comes to playing these kind of games.
Wasn't it last season when Dallas got caught in a weird situation to where they didn't control their fate, but if they did win, they could have snuck into the play-in, and then either Luka didn't play or something weird happened, and they kind of just threw in the white flag?
They could have been a 10 seed, but instead of fighting for the 10 seed, they ended up sitting Luka because they ended up getting their draft pick instead. If they wouldn't have, if they would have made even the play-in, or I'm sorry, if they would have made the playoffs, if they would have made it out of the play-in and into the playoffs, they would have lost their pick last year. And so they just deemed as an organization, what's more important, barely sneaking into the play-in and then maybe getting swept, or potentially setting ourselves up by drafting somebody, in the top 15 that could potentially help Luka moving forward. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I was going to say, who was it?
Let me see who they took even last year in the draft. I mean, obviously the Kings ended up trading with Dallas, and they got Olivier Maxence Prosper. Haven't played him at all this year, so I actually don't remember. Oh, it was Derek Lively, of course. Yeah,
there you go.
It was Derek Lively that they took, and you would probably say that in a weird, twisted way was probably the right move. Derek Lively could potentially be a center that's going to play with Luka the next 8 to 10 years. So it was an interesting calculation. I think the league ended up doing some investigation into it. I don't remember what they ended up finding, but
they didn't find anything.
And then they find them.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm looking at it right now. $750,000 for conduct.
Huh. That is interesting. I mean, yeah. And again,
that's
I think you're saying it's worth it.
That's worth it.
$750K for a center for the next 8 years. Like, I think it's worth it. It's just a matter of, if they felt like they upset Luka in that season, and clearly, clearly they're back the very next year. So I guess, you can't really argue with the results, but it'll be interesting to see how Dallas is prepared for those kind of moments. And, we saw Luka in that playoff in the bubble where he went crazy, but what's he going to do in games here again, where it's been a while since he's played one of these high leverage games? Is he going to try and do too much? Are we going to see a Luka, 40-point game with 8 assists and 12 rebounds, and he just has the ball in his hands the entire game? I think the best case for the Mavericks is something they don't usually do, and that's working the ball around. But I think it's going to be a lot of Luka and Kyrie tonight.
From Brandon Deitzman on the Sack Chat, I want tonight to be a dub, so the Mavericks, have to sleep with a beam looking down on them.
Yeah.
That would be pretty funny.
Yeah, that hurts a little bit more, too, because the hotel's right there. You look outside your window, you just see L, just a massive L pointing back at you all night. It's like that. You remember when Elon had the X posted outside, outside the San Francisco building, and everybody across the street was complaining? I want those complaints coming from Dallas tonight.
The beam, by the way, was a little bit supercharged last night.
Really?
It did this weird thing where, I don't know how far up in the air, but it faded as it goes up higher, but then there was like a weird blotch of maybe, I don't know.
Probably a cloud or something?
No, but it was clearer. It was even stronger.
Really?
So it goes up normally. This is from Natomas, where I'm at. It goes up normally, and you can't really see it. But then and I'm terrible at this stuff, but very high up in the air, there was a random 20 to 30 feet of it that was incredibly strong. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was just how the clouds were looking, but it's never that bright from where I'm at. So, hopefully we get to do a redo tonight, and I can show you exactly what I am talking about.
Beam breakdown.
That's right. When we return, continuing to pocket watch, the Suns lose to the Spurs without Wemby, and the Warriors, if they don't win tonight against the Heat, they're in big, big trouble. And if the Kings, if they don't win either and they slip into the play-in, there is a team that could sneak into the play-in that the Kings do not want to see.
No.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
De'Aaron Fox plays here.
Stolen by Fox. Breakaway coming up for De'Aaron. And a simple, casual spike with the left hand. The Kings lead by 3.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
At LL Flooring, we've been a trusted partner to pros for over 30 years. With over 400 nationwide warehouses full of in-stock, job-ready inventory, you'll get what you need. And our exclusive pro pricing means that pros never pay retail. Because at LL Flooring, all we do is floors. So we're going to do it right. Sign up for a free pro account today to start getting pro benefits.
Sneezing, coughing, stuffy nose, runny nose, post-nasal drip, interrupted sleeping. I was groggy at the end of the day.
Allergies and sinus congestion were making Jana miserable. Then, a friend recommended Navage. Navage provides immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Navage helps you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel your best right away.
Navage gave me instant relief. I didn't have to wait 30 minutes. I didn't have to wait an hour, 90 minutes. I didn't have to wait a minute. I ran the rinse and I felt better.
Stop suffering from congestion and start breathing and feeling your best again with Navage. Navage.
I've had people ask me how I find relief, and I tell them Navage immediately. This thing is amazing.
Navage is available at Navage.com or at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better, and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
National Ping Club Fitter of the Year, Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is introducing the straightest, most forgiving Ping driver ever with the new Ping G430 Max 10K driver. A fixed back weight, Ping's largest head profile, and a carbon fly wrap crown help G430 Max 10K launch the ball higher with less spin for consistently longer and straighter results. Schedule your fitting and see for yourself at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue to Cap City Freeway, or online at HagenOaks.com.
The battle for a top 6 seed in the Western Conference continues tonight as Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and the Dallas Mavericks visit Golden One Center to face the Kings.
Rebounded by Sacramento. Fox on the move. 3 defenders in front of him. Doesn't make a lick of difference. De'Aaron Fox twists his way to the low right side and scores on the reverse.
It's a huge clash tonight at 7 on your proud home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Continuing to pocket watch here, and the Suns doing a pre-Keon Ellis Kings impression, which I guess I can't say that because the Kings did lose to the Wizards with Keon starting.
That's right.
But the Suns, that was a long time ago. The Suns lose to the Wembanyama-less Spurs last night, and that's just bad.
Yeah.
Any
What's
way
that
you
like?
slice it. And it was they lost on a Sohan three or buzzer beater to end the game.
Oh my
That is
God.
just rough. And they had their whole big three. And then in that game, insult to injury, pun intended, Bradley Beal goes down and Nurkic goes down. I don't know how serious, but they were at least out of the game for a portion of it.
Yeah.
You can't draw that up any worse
Yeah.
if you are Club Phoenix and the Phoenix Suns, and they do not play tonight. Only a 4-game slate tonight. The Lakers are at the Bucks, but LeBron is not playing. I believe I saw, obviously, Mavericks at Kings. You have another big one, and we're going to talk about the 4 seed right now. Thunder at Pelicans.
That's
huge. Thunder at Pelicans. That is huge. And then you have Warriors at Heat, and the Warriors are just spiraling right now. They're in a terrible spot. They are a half game ahead of the Rockets, and I believe if they lose, they would be tied. I don't know what the season series is, but if they're only a half game up, they would be tied with the Rockets, and the Rockets would be knocking on the door to get into the play-in, which, dare I say, Chris, isn't great for the Kings. That's why another reason why the Kings need to stay far, far away from the play-in, because I don't want to see the Rockets at all.
No, agreed.
At all.
Pelicans are on the Rockets are on the do not fly list with the Pelicans, 100% for the Kings. They cannot face those two teams. I know, the Rockets, maybe you feel like the Kings have a better chance at, but you're 0-8 combined against those two teams. You just want to avoid them if possible. And, I know Draymond says he's not worried about the Rockets, but man, they're playing the best basketball of anybody in the
9
NBA.
straight.
They have won 9 in a row, and that's without Alperen Şengün here.
I forgot about that.
Which is crazy. I mean, they're playing their best basketball without arguably their best player right now. So I'm sorry, Draymond, but I'm actually not sorry, Draymond. You should definitely be concerned about the Rockets because they're right on your tail. That's a young team that is actually playing for something. They're hungry. They haven't been in a position like that in years. I mean, really, since the Warriors were the team that took them out of it. They are right there. And it feels like Golden State, as the Rockets are definitely on an upward trajectory, definitely feels like the Warriors are losing about as much steam as possible. And, I don't know how much longer Steph Curry can try and keep this boat afloat right now.
And as far as the Heater, you got to go to Miami.
Tough.
And I don't know how much I
two
trust.
Dallas games too.
I don't know how much I trust Draymond in Miami. He's going to be promoting his podcast somewhere. You got to go to Miami, and Miami is a game behind Chris's favorite team, the Pacers.
That's right.
Okay. So Miami is trying to get out of the play-in themselves. So it's not as if Miami doesn't need this game. Miami really needs this game. So this is scary hours for the Warriors to not just, it feels like we're talking about the Mavericks again, as far as barely scraping into the play-in or just scrapping it. I know there's some Warrior fans out there that just want there to be no illusion that this thing can continue going. Just lose, be done with it, and scrap it.
I actually kind of understand that thought process too. Like, I probably wouldn't root for it if I were a fan, of course, because you want to see your team do well. But like, in terms of creating a sense of urgency, especially with how much they're spending with that team, it kind of does feel like the better move in the long run for them, in the same way that it was with the Mavericks, might be to not make the play-in and have to face those tough decisions and at least have some justification for it. Because I can already see if the Warriors make the play-in as the 10 seed, maybe they win the first game, maybe they lose a close one to get into the playoffs. They're going to convince themselves, hey, man, we were right there. This was a season from hell. Clay's figured it out. He's going to be coming off the bench now. Kuminga's going to be another year better. Let's just run this thing back. Hey, as somebody who doesn't root for the Warriors, go ahead. Y'all have fun with that. But thinking about it from a team perspective, it's probably a lot better that they move on from Clay. Maybe you start to explore Draymond things. Maybe you look to finally move off Wiggins. I think that there's a lot better chance of all those things happening. Maybe even moving on from Steve Kerr if they don't make the playoffs. I just think that team, this is what every team that is a dynasty, they're going to run that thing till the wheels fall off.
The wheels have fallen off.
It feels like they've fallen off, right?
They
got the
falling.
spare on there right now.
Yeah, the donut. You've driven the donut too far.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when you drive the donut too far, you are in grave danger.
Yes.
You are in grave danger. The Kings are in a little bit of danger, but they can stay out of it if they take care of business throughout the rest of the week. The Kings are 2 games back of the Pelicans and the Clippers, the soft Clippers and the Pelicans that are missing Brandon Ingram. And here you go, Chris. You have to have the conversation. Yep. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, and we've done this before, but it is what it is, right? The Pelicans could easily lose to the Thunder, who are trying to catch the Nuggets for the 1 seed. They're 1 game back of the Nuggets for that 1 seed. The problem is you don't want to be in the play-in. And as much as I'm joking, the Clippers, because Ty Lue called them soft in a press conference, Mike Brown just never does stuff, by the way, like that. Not in pressers.
Not calling out his team like that.
Not like that. Not like that. My problem is you're now messing around with that 4 or 5 of the Pelicans, the Clippers, and the Kings.
That's right.
Do you want to face the Pelicans in a 7-game series?
Not especially.
Do you want to face the Clippers in a 7-game series?
Not if we can play another team, no.
So the problem is, can you just stay in the 6?
Success.
Just stay in the 6.
Because like Drake, man, just stay in the 6.
Just stay in the 6, because it does you no good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You get to the 4, and unless one of the top 3 teams blow it, you're only going to have home court advantage for 1 series anyway. So if you're asking, hey, would you rather a 6 seed and face the Timberwolves or the Thunder? I don't think the Nuggets are going to drop back to the 3.
I don't think so.
But would you rather face the Timberwolves or the Thunder as a 6 seed, or would you rather face the Pelicans or the Clippers as a 4 or 5 seed? Might sound crazy.
I know.
But if you follow the Kings, it's a pretty easy answer. They have beat the Clippers. I think the Clippers were missing somebody.
Yes, they did beat the Clippers.
But I think the Clippers were missing one of their big 3, maybe Paul George.
Yeah.
They didn't beat the Clippers full strength. And the Pelicans, I mean, that goes without saying. So they haven't beaten either of these teams at full strength. They haven't beaten the Pelicans at all.
Period.
They haven't beat the Clippers at full strength. In the first 2 games against the Clippers, they got blasted.
Yeah.
They have 1 more game against the Clippers regardless.
And the Pelicans.
Do we have to?
Well, here's the weird thing is it might actually be in the Kings' favor, because if you do win both games against Dallas, and like you said, maybe OKC does the Kings a favor and beats the Pelicans today, well, the Kings are then in a position where you could realistically leapfrog both of those teams and end up in the 4 seed. The fact that after that, I mean, after these 2 Dallas games, you have the Clippers on April 2nd. There's a chance that game is for the 5th seed.
Yeah.
Granted, the Clippers would have the tiebreaker advantage in that case, but then we're also talking about if the Kings are going to be creeping up on the Clippers, not only are we talking about them potentially sneaking into the 4 or 5 seed, not that it matters at all, but somehow we're back to the Kings might win the division still. As pointless as that is, it's just crazy that that's still in the cards. And then, you have the Pelicans on April 11th. If the Kings can keep it close after that rough road trip of the Knicks, Celtics, Nets, Thunder, they come home, they play the Pelicans that'll be 3 games left before that game is played. You've got a chance here at the end of the season to somehow sneak into the top 5. It'll be interesting to see if they can do it. But, man, it's just nuts that they're even in a position, even still, where they can put themselves in that top 4 seed. It's crazy, but crazier things have happened. I do think that there still is a chance. It's just not likely.
It's not likely. Do you think 5 is realistic? 4 is the one that you're thinking?
Yeah. 4 feels like you would need, because you would literally need both of those teams to fall out of it. And that's the part where, I believe that maybe the Kings can play well enough to put themselves in that situation. But then to ask both of those teams to collapse this late in the season.
Because the Mavs are going to keep winning.
Yeah, the Mavs are going to keep
even if the Mavs lose both this week, their schedule is pretty soft, just like the Clippers.
Yeah, they've got, after these two Kings games, Dallas has at Houston, at Golden State, and then home for Atlanta, Golden State, Houston, at Charlotte, at Miami, versus Detroit, versus OKC. So it really is about half their games now are really, really easy opponents. And then some of those, and OKC is the last game of the season. I'd imagine OKC will probably be wrapped up by then. So realistically, their hard games are the Miami Heat and then 2 games against the Warriors and 2 games against the Rockets. It's not the easiest schedule, again, especially with the Rockets and the Warriors both still fighting for things. There is a chance that Dallas does slip up on some of those nights, but it's just not nearly as tough of a schedule as what the Kings have. So it's kind of tough. But, again, all the Kings really need to do is focus on their own. In a weird way, they still are in control of their own destiny. If they take care of the Mavericks and then, for the most part, finish around 500 the rest of the way, they're going to be in a really good position. Maybe they can surprise some teams. They just beat Philly. They beat Milwaukee. Maybe now they can beat the Celtics. Again, like you said earlier, Celtics might not be playing all their guys at that point in the season. Maybe the Kings get lucky on that front. There's still a possibility, but truly it all starts tonight. If the Kings don't get this win tonight, honestly, everything kind of changes when we just look at the grand landscape of everything and how everything can shape up. So it's kind of tough, but I would say in terms of standings watch, in terms of pocket watching, we're not going to get the most clear view of this until after the Kings play both of these games against Dallas.
Yeah, and if they go out and they lose this game tonight, we will not. I don't think we'll utter another word about the 4 seed. No, and maybe not.
That'll be over at that point.
Maybe not the 5. I mean, the 5 you'd have to get. You talk about Tapatio hot. I mean, you'd have to be in fuego.
You would have to be in fuego
to catch the 5, which is possible, but we can still have those conversations in a more realistic fashion if the Kings take care of business. And we will discuss how they can do that. Keys to the game up next when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuits seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-230-0194. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-230-0194. That's 800-230-0194. Again, 800-230-0194.
Join Chris Watkins and the Sactown Sports Street Team this Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. at Fieldhouse American Sports Pub for some basketball madness and their mouthwatering full menu, 1310 Fulton Avenue. See you there.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Shout out to Domas. Sabonis was on NBA Today, and he was being celebrated for his streak.
Wow.
54 straight double-doubles. I know.
Wait, that's acknowledgement.
That is acknowledgement.
What?
That is acknowledgement. I know. It's surprising but did
they ask him about the Lakers?
Probably,
maybe, yeah,
probably. They asked him what happened against Golden State.
Yeah,
last season.
yeah, exactly.
And so shout out to Domas getting a little bit of national love, and it matters. I know it sounds silly, but it does matter, and you got to celebrate these things throughout the course of the season. So good on Domas, but he knows himself. He even said in the locker room, people were saying that he was not really worried about talking about what he accomplished.
Yeah.
He really just wants to focus on getting it done against the Mavs and getting back into the playoffs where real narratives change.
That's right.
And where real brands can be created. 916-339-1140. Let's get to David, who wants to be a part of the conversation on the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. What's up, David? What you got for us?
Hey, guys. Thanks a lot for having me. I sure hope the Kings don't have the same mentality as you guys, though. If you're trying to position yourself because of fear of other teams, then you might as well walk the game already, because you got to play the team in front of you and have the confidence, no matter how many times you lose to them, that you're going to beat them this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I ain't trying to duck nobody.
Yeah, no, I hear you, David. And look, at the end of the day, the Kings don't have the ability to control it, right? They're not going to go out, and thanks for the call, David. They're not going to go out and, well, we do this every year, right? Where some team, did they actually lose?
Right.
Didn't we do this last year?
Yes, last year
with the Warriors?
The Lakers. The Lakers tried to say they're going to position themselves. They want to position themselves into a spot where they end up playing the Kings in the first round.
Right.
Which was ridiculous.
Which they were not able to do. Look, Chris and I, as show hosts, have a different mentality than the players.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
The players aren't ducking any smoke. But I will say this. I don't know how confident
that's exactly
the players feel
just walking into game one
against a Pelicans team that they have not beaten.
Yeah.
Now, David, if they go out, and I know, do we know if Brandon Ingram's done for the season? Is he done for the season?
I don't believe so. I don't think they ruled him out for the year. I think they said it's going to be a couple weeks before reevaluation, but they said it wasn't essentially a guaranteed season-ending injury.
Now, I think it was they said it was more of a bone bruise versus any actual damage. Now, we don't know how confident the Kings are against the Pelicans team that they have not been able to beat. I think it is incredibly important for the Kings to beat this Pelicans team. And again, the Kings got to make sure that they hold down the 6th seed.
Yeah.
But in a world where you do raise up the ranks and you're looking at a 4-5 and you have the Pelicans, I think it's incredible. Wouldn't this be the first time in NBA history, because of the in-season tournament, that you could lose to the same team 5 times in a row?
Yes.
Now, if you play roulette, you got to think red or black. Something's got to switch. But trust me, I've seen black hit 7 times in a row.
Yeah.
You don't believe it, but it will.
Yeah.
Now, how I feel, how Chris feels versus how the players feel, you're completely right, David. You cannot be in a locker room like that and feel like you're worried about
you
a
can't
team.
say, hey, we should actually kind of throw today.
Exactly. So we can drop down. But as far as the fans are concerned, I don't know how confident the fans might feel against the Pelicans. And from the Clippers' perspective, the Clippers just have a bunch of guys, or 2 guys in particular, and Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, that as much as we love Keon Ellis defensively, Keegan can only guard one of them. I don't know who, and you got to put Harrison Barnes on Kawhi or Paul George. So it's not a great matchup, and the Kings would have to deal with that. But yes, the players cannot have that mindset.
Of course not.
You can disagree with that mindset as well, but I don't want to see the Pelicans.
Yeah.
And maybe my tone would change if the Kings go out and they beat the brakes off the Pelicans in this last matchup when it comes up. And I don't want to see the Pelicans because of that. I don't really want to see the Clippers just because we've seen the really good Clippers. They're not playing well right now, but that really good version of the Clippers, that's why they're thrown in for the 5th highest odds to win the title every single year, because if they put it together, they could roll. But no, I highly doubt, I vehemently doubt that the Kings are ducking anybody. But if you're talking to me, David, I'd prefer not to see the Pelicans.
And I wouldn't even say that it's necessarily, I mean, maybe from the Pelicans side of things, maybe it is a fear, but like it's honestly not even necessarily I'm afraid of those teams, more of I would acknowledge that there's teams that are much better matchups. And if you're already going to be the underdog going into the series, you need as many things working for you as possible. You're already not going to have home court advantage. You're already not the higher seed, so you didn't have the better season. You need as many things working in your favor as possible. And if the Kings go against a Denver or a Clippers in the playoffs, they're not going to have the experience advantage. There's so many other teams that the Kings just aren't factually in a better position to win the series if they go against an OKC or against a Minnesota, or maybe even, even though we are talking about how the Kings haven't played well against the Pelicans don't have a ton of experience either. As a matter of fact, they probably have more experience in blowing these kind of things than actually playing in them. So, in a weird way, I just think that it's not even necessarily a fear thing. It's just, hey, we're trying to set ourselves up in the best possible situation so that we can keep this thing going and have as good of a season as possible.
Well, I can guarantee you this, and because I saw this when the Lakers lost to the Kings in those 1 week and then the next week, it's the same way as far as matchups. The Lakers would straight up rather face the Thunder than the Kings. I know that for a fact. Yeah. The Lakers want nothing to do with the Kings.
Yep. They've seen that movie. They know how that movie ends.
And maybe it's less about the Lakers or the Laker fan base or Laker media. All I know is they don't want to see the Kings because the Kings have owned the Lakers. The Lakers never beat the Kings this season.
Yeah, they don't get
so
close.
It's the same. It's the same idea. If it was true if it was true duck and smoke, then you wouldn't want to see the top seeds.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you would say, well, I don't want to see Minnesota or I don't want to see the Nuggets or those teams at the top. This is a specific matchup situation that we have watched throughout the course of the season.
Right.
It's one thing when you don't play well. It's another thing when we talk a lot about cooking and ingredients. If it seems like the ingredients to beat the Pelicans, the Kings just don't seem to have it this season.
No answer.
And we did the same thing with the Lakers when we were sitting here with the roundtable, which will be back tomorrow, where Brendan Nunez and Frankie Cardicelli, when Brendan said, I think AD is going to go off tonight. Yeah. And you said, well, what makes you feel like that? Because it's the same setup it's been. That is when the confidence starts to break, where it's, and I asked the same thing. What do you think the Lakers can do to try to win? And you know what the Lakers did? Absolutely nothing. They did the same thing they always do because that's who they are.
Yes.
I don't know if there are enough changes that the Kings can make to beat the Pelicans 4 times after they have not beat them
not
once.
Even close.
And they haven't been close.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But before you can even get to that, you got to win tonight. And then you got to win on Friday. And the Kings have beat the Mavericks. So this is twice. So this is where the Kings can really put their pedal to the metal and start the ascension. And then we can have the conversation. And I'll tell you this one more before we get out of here. If the Kings did face the Pelicans, you better believe I would find a way to talk myself and the listeners and Chris Watkins into somehow the Kings having a chance against the Pelicans, even if they lose to them in, next week or in a couple weeks? Stiles and Watkins, when we return, we continue the conversation and we discuss the keys to the game to beat those Mavericks from Dallas. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Kings, I don't want to see those Kings in the playoffs. I don't want to see them in the play-in tournament. I don't want to see them at the AAU tournament. I don't want to see them at the Blacktop. I don't want to see the Kings no more this year. The rest of the year, I hope we don't see the Kings.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
The Amish have a reputation for craftsmanship, determination, and quality. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. You know, those virtues sound quite similar to the Keys family and the day-to-day values on display at Naturewood. The Amish furniture craftsmanship begins with the finest hardwood, shaping and molding the raw materials into one-of-a-kind art. In addition to the classic styles long sought and revered by discriminating furniture lovers, Naturewood Home Furnishings offers a vast selection that includes transitional, modern, farmhouse, arts and crafts, and other stunning styles, all available in the ultimate Amish standard of excellence built over centuries. All Naturewood Amish furniture is on sale right now for a limited time. Let the Naturewood team guide you through their selection of Amish furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Right now, you're missing all the fun at the Hagen Oaks Driving Range powered by Top Tracer. It's the place to be this summer in Sacramento. Whether you're an accomplished player or a newbie, there's something for everyone at the Hagen Oaks Nighttime Driving Range. Golf is happening right now, and the Hagen Oaks Driving Range is the perfect place to see what the fuss is all about. The Hangout Food Truck offers tasty bites and craft beers on the brand new relaxed patio, and with a free concert schedule, there's always something for everyone at the Hagen Oaks Driving Range. Join the fun tonight until midnight. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway.
Hey guys, do you know your T-level? Revive Men's Health here in Sacramento is helping you take that first step toward better health and enhanced intimacy with a free testosterone level test, exam, and consultation. Plus, for this month only, qualified patients can kickstart their treatment with a free supply of ED medication. Call Revive Men's Health Sacramento at 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
You know the saying, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Kenny and Jerry here from Bell Brothers. And when it comes to air conditioning tune-ups and repairs, it's true.
Sure, I can tell you how great our techs are, how they're experienced, dedicated, and trained to do the job right the first time. Make no mistake, our techs are great. But the way you'll know they care is in the details.
They show it by arriving on time, in clean trucks, wearing clean uniforms. They're clean cut, friendly, and courteous. They communicate clearly and will give you a price up front, in writing, so there are no surprises.
You'll know they care because they will treat you like they care. And like I said, they're also really good at doing the job right the first time.
Call Bell Brothers today to schedule an $87 precision tune-up. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
916-339-1140. What are your keys to the game? Chris and I know what ours are, but what are your keys to the game for the Kings to win the first of this two-game mini-series to decide if they'll have the tiebreaker against the Mavericks? Well, they can get the tiebreaker tonight, but to then get two more on y'all.
That's right.
And to add another game on top of that to distance themselves from the Mavericks, as they will start a pretty tough stretch, the Kings will, after this. It's just not really gonna stop. They get a little break against the Jazz. That's on Sunday, little Sunday fun day action. I feel like the Kings haven't played well on Sunday.
No, it's
I just
so
feel
weird,
like
dude.
that.
Yeah, those and especially I don't know if that one's like an earlier tip.
It's
too.
a 6 p.m.er.
It throws everything off. It just throws everything off.
Yeah, and the Jazz, by the way, they ended up losing to the Mavericks by 10 last night, but they gave them a good effort.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't roll over. It is in Sacramento, so the Kings have that going for them. After that, they have one more game at home that is for this homestand, I should say. That is against the Clippers. The Clippers will come to Sacramento April 2nd. And then, yes, Chris and I have talked about it over and over again. Then they head back east for a very poorly timed East Coast trip. But after that is when they head to New York. They head to the Garden, which is now a TNT game. It is now a national televised game. That's on a Thursday, April 4th. After that, they head to Boston, who we can all hope has already wrapped up the first seed in the East. Maybe a couple guys don't play. That's April 5th. And then they take on the Nets, which is personally scaring Chris a lot because that's the game you can overlook. And then after that, they head to OKC.
That is just, it's scary, man. It's just, it's not an easy stretch. I mean, with how the Kings have been playing here, you have to feel good about their chances against a lot of those teams. But at the same time, Boston has just been a thorn in their side. OKC might still be battling for position there. And then, you got the Clippers, the Knicks. It is just a lot of high pressure games that the Kings have to play here. And while, yes, they did get a taste of it last year in the playoffs, this is a long time to have this much pressure on you and then still have to deliver in the playoffs. Hopefully these guys are up for it. But, we've said it before, they're earning whatever spot they get. They are going to earn here, whether it be, for the worse or for the better. I think the Kings will be in exactly the position that they deserve to be in. Because of their play, man. They have some really, really tough opponents, but they do have a lot of those games at home. They only have 4 more road games, and it's that one road trip that they have. So, you do have a lot of, or some things, I should say, working in your favor. It's about taking advantage of them, man, because that's what the playoffs is about. Again, you have home court advantage. You've got to win games at home, especially against good opponents. And, they've got 2 against Dallas. They've got a game against the Clippers and the Pelicans and the Suns all at home. You could argue you just take care of your home games. You should be sitting pretty. And then, of course, take care of that Brooklyn game as well. That should be really all you need. But it's never that easy. It's never that cut and dry. I'm sure the Kings are going to lose games that is going to have us upset, and I'm sure they're going to win games that might surprise us as well. So who knows what the rest of the season has in store. But all I do know is that, man, this thing is going to be truly a sprint to the end of the season. The Kings have just on that road trip, that's 4 games in 5 days. There's going to be so many games. I know we're going to have this Tuesday to Friday break, but truly after that, you don't go more than 2 days without seeing the Kings on the floor. So it's going to be crazy just how many games are going to be played game after game. And then we've talked about it all season long, but especially today, you really can't dwell or celebrate any night because it's just right back to the drawing board the very next day and on to the next opponent. So it's going to be an interesting test, but I'm glad that they've at least put themselves for this moment heading into it. They're at least sitting at the top of that 6, 7, 8.
We are getting to the keys of the game, but as we do that, I'm trying to figure out, we have Woj bombs.
Oh no,
Chris, but I'm trying to figure out a Frankie Cardicelli, a Frankie Accardo Bombo. This is coming out now. That. The Dallas Mavericks have listed Luka Doncic as questionable for tonight's game.
Ducking smoke.
Versus the Sacramento Kings due to left Achilles soreness. Don't like that if you're a Mavs fan. I would assume this has probably been going on. I don't think they just pop up out of nowhere. He probably plays. Looking at the injury reports.
Let me see if he's
Sasha's still questionable. Sasha's still questionable. Luka is actually questionable. Yes, with that left Achilles, that's really the main one.
Interesting.
And no other real surprises there.
I'm trying to see if he's had a history of this. I'm not seeing any history of Luka having Achilles injuries. I've seen a couple ankle injuries in here, so maybe it's something that he picked up last night in Utah. That'll be interesting, man. I mean, yeah, if I mean, it is good for Dallas that he's going to have that Wednesday, Thursday break in between these games, but having your Achilles mess up at this point in the season, I mean, Alan, I don't want to get towards sore subjects here. I know it's feeling a lot better these days, but
yes.
You just don't, I mean, a lot of Achilles injuries are due to like maintenance or injury management. Like if you're putting too much pressure on your body, the Achilles is going to be one of the first things to go. And it's a little bit concerning. A dude who's leading the NBA and has led the NBA in usage percentage the past couple years, for him to have an injury that really does really not do well with just impact. It's not great. It's not great.
And I don't know if these are mind games or whatever it is. I mean, if you are saying someone's questionable, you're not seeing anything prior to tonight. So he clearly played the whole game,
right,
or you didn't leave early, and now you're coming off a back-to-back. I don't see how you play.
I that's what I'm wondering too, especially with an Achilles. Again, like that's a pretty serious thing. I don't know if it's just soreness or what, but that's a pretty serious thing to be playing less than 24 hours in a game where you're going to be needed a lot. Again, I'm expecting a lot of Kyrie and Luka tonight, and if Luka's not going to be regardless, even if he does play, what this is saying, if I'm the Kings, I'm reading this as Luka's not 100%. You will already attack that man defensively on any given night. If I know his Achilles is messed up, Alan, I am literally going at him the entire first quarter. I was looking at the stats from yesterday, and you can look at the stats from every night. Utah went at Luka 17 times yesterday. They had a field goal attempt on Luka. The Kings need to be in the 20-plus range, just attacking, getting him into switches, making him run as much as possible. And really, honestly, I mean, it's the game, making him test that Achilles as much as he's willing to go.
The game is the game.
It is.
I mean, it's
especially
not,
at this point.
What do you want us to do if he's playing? He's
getting attacked.
My kid's got to eat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. If you are on the floor, I've seen dudes do this in pickup with a 65-year-old man. You know what I mean? And they'll look me dead in the face and say, "Alan, if he's trying to play, attack him then."
Back him down.
I'm thinking, man, I'm not really trying to. Man, why don't you go at him? You see this 10-game wait? You better stop playing around.
Nah,
that's what it has to be. So yeah, that literally just came out,
just dropped
about 3 to 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, 3 minutes ago.
And you have Sasha Vezenkov still questionable as well. I don't know what in the world is going on there.
No clue. Yeah, I would have said probably a week ago that he was going to play. So I don't know what the holdup is there. I don't know if it's reconditioning, and that's maybe the case. But again, it does bring up the point of, even if Sasha is active, does that mean he's going to play? Does that mean that he's just automatically inserted into the rotation? I mean, at this point, I don't think so, but we'll just have to see. And Sasha's questionable. I got the rest of the injury report here. Trey Lyles is out, of course. Kevin Huerter's out. Jordan Ford's on two-way. On the Mavs side, you have Luka questionable. You have Josh Green out with a right ankle sprain. You also have Maxi Kleba as questionable as well with a right knee soreness. That is one of Dallas's few just straight up shooters on their team. And we were talking about how they've struggled from the perimeter here recently. So, those are definitely, from the King side, those are positives. The fact that those guys are at the very least banged up, I think that those are two guys that you should go after if they're playing tonight.
And I can already tell you what's popping up on the text line.
Lost.
And the sack chat.
Lost. Oh, Luka's not playing.
Luka,
guaranteed
play.
loss. Yeah.
Please play, Luka. We need you to play.
We need that carrot to be dangled.
Yes, we need you to play, Luka. Maybe there are some mind games there, but either way, the Kings got to come correct to make sure that they take care of business tonight. When we return, how does this affect Prop Talk? Also, there's a guy who took prop talk
too seriously,
a little too personally, and a little too seriously.
Come on, man.
And it's going to cost them
just a segment.
a lot of money. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khtk.com.
National Ping Club Fitter of the Year, Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is introducing the straightest, most forgiving Ping driver ever with the new Ping G430 Max 10K driver. A fixed backweight, Ping's largest head profile, and a carbon fly wrap crown help G430 Max 10K launch the ball higher with less spin for consistently longer and straighter results. Schedule your fitting and see for yourself at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue to Cap City Freeway, or online at hagenoaks.com.
It's Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you want a deal that's a slam dunk, go see the winning team at Folsom Lake Ford. Folsom Lake Ford is your truck headquarters with all your American-made favorites, like America's best-selling F-Series, F-150s, and Super Duties, or spacious new Explorers and Expeditions, plus a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports, all in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford, right here in Sacramento. You can buy any new Ford with zero down on approved credit, save big with low interest finance rates, and Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. Check out the huge selection of inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership to see their most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. They'll help you out. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 35 years and counting.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave inviting you to make the switch to electric this spring and save big with American Energy. Stay ahead of those spiking energy bills this summer with up to $9,000 in rebates on a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. American Energy is providing huge rebates from SMUD as well as spring specials by installing one of many incredibly efficient AC options available to you right now. Get rid of those fluctuating gas bills in the winter and switch to year-round all-electric with American Energy. Let them perform a free in-home energy efficiency analysis and see where they can help you save for the warmer months ahead. These guys are the best. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Learn more by calling 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Fitty and Fiber, Dawson Oil Company, and Good Guys Heating and Cooling.
Welcome to the March Mania sales event at Kia of Vacaville. Get ready for an extraordinary showcase of our 2024 vehicle lineup. Experience the latest in cutting-edge technology, innovative features, and the sleek Kia design that defines excellence. During March Mania, we're excited to offer unbeatable lease options on our top models. Step into the future with the all-new Kia Sportage, where captivating design meets exhilarating performance. Explore the remarkable fuel efficiency of the Kia Niro, a hybrid marvel that extends your journey with every mile. Discover the luxury and versatility of the Kia Telluride, seamlessly blending sophistication with practicality. Don't miss our eco-friendly Kia hybrid options, perfect for those who prioritize efficiency without compromising on style. And with the EV9 in stock, Kia of Vacaville is your destination for electric excitement. Visit us today during March Mania and take advantage of exclusive lease deals and special offers. Model availability, lease options, and features may vary. Please visit the Kia of Vacaville for more details.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
So before we get into our prop talk and dog segment, there was someone who decided to, sometimes you bet on yourself and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Right? You know, and
most of the time.
In your work life and your career, you gotta bet on yourself. In sports, not on yourself literally, but to do well and to succeed. Well, Jontay Porter, brother of Michael Porter Jr., which clearly
he's not sharing the wealth.
Not sharing the wealth at all. Jontay Porter is in hot water, as this is from ESPN, the story. Prop bets involving Porter from games January 26th and March 20th, multiple sources told ESPN. An NBA sports spokesperson told ESPN that the league is looking into them. In the game on January 26th against the Clippers, there was an increased betting interest on the under for Porter props, which is, first of all, just random as heck.
Yeah,
so that probably alerted people.
Yeah.
Which for the night were set around 5.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. There was also an over-under for Porter's made three-pointers, which was at 0.5. That evening, Porter played just 4 minutes before leaving the game because of what the Raptors said was an aggravation of an eye injury he had suffered 4 days earlier against the Memphis Grizzlies. Porter did not score against the Clippers, but had 3 rebounds and 1 assist, and he did not attempt a three, meeting the under hit on all of his props. The next day, as part of a daily report to users on betting results, DraftKings Sportsbook stated that the under on Porter's three-pointers was the biggest money winner for bettors of any NBA player props from games that evening. Wow. Porter played 19 minutes 2 days later, scored 12 points with 7 rebounds and 3 assists. This gets better.
This ties in.
Hold on.
We have a tie-in.
On March 20th, just last week.
Yes.
Against the Kings, Porter played just 3 minutes before exiting because of what the Raptors said was an illness and did not return. He did not score after attempting 1 shot and had 2 rebounds.
Offensive rebounds.
Sportsbooks had his over-under set at around 7.5 points and 5.5 rebounds. The next day, DraftKings Sportsbook reported in a media release that Porter's prop bets were the number 1 moneymaker from the night in NBA. Why do you have to do all this?
He was so bad at it, too.
So bad.
Bruh, keep the information to yourself. Like, was he actually, you know what? Crazy enough, I was reading this article, and there is a tweet here from somebody who says Jontay had a Discord channel where he tells people what to trade and bet on. I have to pay $49.99 to see the premium room, but in that main room, they are discussing things, the NBA and Jontay. And people are thanking Jontay for their winnings. And there's pictures of screenshots of Jontay in this.
He's
and people
cooked.
saying, you know, Tay is Jontay
It's
Porter,
huge.
Lakers. This is insane.
It's huge. Okay, let me borrow your homework and you copy it word for word energy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that
like,
was...
of course the teacher's going to realize, wait, number 27 is B, but everybody put C. That's weird.
Yeah.
You know?
Here you go. At least one other U.S. sportsbook detected unusual betting interest on the Porter props in the games in question. A
Brother.
sportsbook industry source told ESPN that multiple betting accounts attempted to bet large amounts upward of $10,000 and $20,000 on Porter unders in the January game against the Clippers. Betting limits on NBA player props vary by sportsbook and customer, but are typically around $1,000 to $2,000. This quote is outstanding. People were trying to do whatever they could to bet Jonte Porter props, the source said. And then just a few days ago, the same thing. We had a bunch of people trying to bet under for more.
That is the definition of zero finesse also. Like,
zero.
How do you not understand, like, basic money laundering is, let's not just throw all of the dollars in there.
Watch one episode of Ozark and you would have been okay, brother.
You could have gotten a room of 10 people in on it. Not that I'm trying to, let's not completely
how
plan
you
this.
would do
Allegedly,
this.
Sprinkle allegedly, but you should like get 10 people and spread the money out there so it doesn't raise any like red flags. But you know, or you can just put it in a forum and have as many people as possible throw their money in there and have people spend tens of thousands of dollars trying to bet on your, and like the thing is, it's Jonte Porter. Like, this is like if all of Sacramento was like, let's just bet on Keon Ellis over steals. Like, nobody's thinking about putting Jonte Porter on their prize picks.
Wait, so that was literally my prop yesterday. With some respect.
Insider trading.
And it did not. Well, and the other thing is, too, you got to throw off the scent.
Yes,
you should have had some people eat it and bet his over, right?
Yep.
Just to throw.
Yeah.
I mean, does no one watch Law and Order? What is happening? Where is Benson when you need her?
This is ridiculous.
Here to close.
It only took him a week to get caught, which is how bad
you got
it was. Yeah.
Immediately. Porter, the brother of Denver Nuggets star Michael Porter Jr., is on a two-way contract with the Raptors, earning $415,000, $415,000 this season.
Yeah.
$400K.
Not enough, apparently.
$400K. Not enough.
That's insane.
You're done now.
You know, yeah. And this is kind of, you know, to bring it to a serious note, like this is that slippery slope that everybody talked about where, you know, this was bound to happen almost in a weird way. And I'd be shocked if it doesn't happen in more than just this sport. I mean, basketball is probably one of the easier sports to do it in, but think about how easy, you know, people barely get hits in baseball. Imagine how easy it would be and how little of a red flag it would be if somebody just goes 0-4 on a given night, you know?
And baseball, you're up and down, you're in AAA, you're in the majors. I might need to get a little,
a little action,
separate action
while I'm
on
up in the majors. You know, maximize my earning potential.
I got the Discord from John.
Prize Picks doesn't have the River Cats on there.
There you go. There you go. And with that being said, prop talk. Let's get it.
Let's do it. Nobody get in trouble. Okay.
Nobody get in trouble.
That's 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah, 1-800-GAMBLER
all the time.
Please. All right. Yeah. Who wants to start here? I'll start. You know what? I'll start.
Oh, he's feeling it.
Yeah, I've got one lined up here. I was doing all the numbers earlier about Domantas Sabonis and how he dominates Daniel Gafford, averaging 12 rebounds a game against Gafford. But Sabonis has been even better than that just this season. Looking at Sabonis' rebound average, I mean, which is just absurd. I mean, looking at his season stats is insane. Just under 20 points, just over 13.5 rebounds, just under 8.5 assists. I'm going to go the over on defensive rebounds tonight. I'm going to go over 11. The number's set at 11, so give me 12 Sabonis defensive rebounds. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, he didn't get that last night.
He did not. No,
I was told.
Yeah.
So I was told.
Well, yeah.
He did not get that last night. Simone?
I'm going to be very straightforward as I kind of work on some things as we get ready for the drive, guys.
That's right.
Live from downtown Sacramento.
That's right.
Give me, I'm going to go back to my old friend, Mr. Monk.
Ooh.
Just a straightforward over 16.5.
Love it.
I like that. He's got to heat back up at some point.
Yeah.
He has not been great from the 3-point range, but that will end tonight as Simone has given him the good juju.
Right.
All right. Okay.
All right.
I'm the last one.
Okay.
I'm definitely playing with a couple different ideas here. And there are a couple that always try to get me. I think you said one, Chris.
Yeah.
And talk about how he's been De'Aaron Fox. How about this one that you basically led me to? I don't really feel strongly about any of them. De'Aaron Fox, 8 3-pointers attempted.
Whoa.
Under.
Okay. There you go.
Under. He's getting to the rack. He's doing some different things. Under.
Wow.
8 3-pointers.
Did you hear that on a Discord somewhere?
Is it too random?
Just be honest.
I did not hear it on a
That's
Discord.
awful specific. Yeah. Interesting.
Well, because the points.
It's okay. You don't have to.
Hey, man.
Well, no, hold on here. Yeah. All right. It's either that or I like the 5.5 assists for De'Aaron.
I like that number 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either one.
Two.
Either one works.
You're perfect. You're perfect.
Yeah. All
Just
right.
wanted to make sure I'm not exposing anyone's big master plan.
Get off Discord. It's time.
It's time.
Dog segment.
Where the barks.
Let's get it.
On a night like tonight, where it's a big game, I look no other way than in the direction of the big game man himself, Mr. Fourth Quarter, De'Aaron Fox. I'm going De'Aaron for our dog of today against the Dallas Mavericks. He kills the Mavericks for his career.
Mm-hmm. Easy enough.
Easy enough.
I will go next, and I'm going to ride with Malik Monk.
Ooh.
I think that tonight's the night that he breaks out of his really just a 3 slump.
Yeah.
He hasn't been playing poorly.
No.
But he had the donut out there in Orlando, 0 for 0 points that he had. And then last night, he was getting to the rack, but Chris, there were some wide open threes.
Yes.
He wasn't getting close.
No.
So I think he'll be in the lab, and he will figure it out tonight. Malik Monk, my dog.
I'm also just going to be short, sweet, and simple.
Love it.
I'm going to be adopting that big dog. Bring him here
Monk?
to me. No, DeMontis.
Oh,
biggest dog.
There you go. There you go. So we got
the biggest dog.
So we got Sabonis,
Yep.
Fox, Monk. That's how you know it's
Big
an important
3.
game.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how you know it's a big game. We're not
messing around.
We're
The
not
real
messing
big
around
3.
today. Let's get to the text line in the Sac Chat. Dogs. Manny too legit. Fox is my dog for tonight. Brandon Deitzman says Malik Monk is my dog for tonight. Let's see. Curtis Hicks, off night is my dog. All right, we see that as well from the 916. Keon is my dog tonight. Also from the 916. Another Davion is my dog tonight. And last but not least, from the 209, they have Sabonis as their dog tonight. Beach Hut Deli, you don't want to miss it. Go say hello if you can.
Right outside
or listen
Yoko.
to them on these here airwaves. I might stop by.
Oh, yeah.
I might stop by and
No, we
say
should stop
hello.
by. We
So
should
maybe we'll run into each other.
Yeah.
Let's do some pictures. Let's have a good time. Chris Watkins, he might be there too. Go ahead and listen to the Drive Guys coming up next. And if you're in the area, go check them out at the Beach Hut Deli. Thank you for listening to Stiles and Watkins. Until tomorrow, secure the bag, light the back-to-back Dallas beam.
The battle for a top 6 seed in the Western Conference continues tonight as Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and the Dallas Mavericks visit Golden One Center to face the